Welcome once again to 7 days, 7 one-shots, or 7 days, 7 games, I should say. Now, this is, I believe, Thursday, yes. So this is game number 4 in 7 days. And today we are playing a game that is a little more obscure and a lot of people would not necessarily know. It's called Don't Rest Your Head. It is a contemporary, so set in the early 2000s or so, game that is heavy horror elements, heavy dark elements. It's a bit of a mixture of different genres, I would say. But basically what it is about is that the player characters have become aware of a world that is hidden, sort of like a parallel dimension that is touching our world. And that world is called the Mad City. You'll see what all that entails soon. I won't give you too much of an introduction background-wise because the player characters don't know anything and the players know very little as well, so you'll just all figure things out as we go. Now, rule-wise, Don't Rest Your Head has a very interesting rule system that I haven't quite seen anywhere else. It's based on D6 dice pools, which by itself isn't anything interesting as such, but the way it's working in detail is quite interesting. So basically, player characters have 3 different colors of dice, or 3 different types of dice. They're all D6, but they're coming from different directions, so to speak. There are discipline dice, there are exhaustion dice, and there are madness dice. How a check works is a player character rolls a bunch of dice coming from at least 1 or up to 3 of those pools, and he needs to roll a 1, 2, or 3 for a success. So every single die that rolls a 1, 2, or 3 is counted as a success. The game master rolls dice that are called pain dice, which I have right here. And depending on how difficult the action is that the player character performs, I am assigning a pain rating, basically. So the average action would be like around 3 pain dice, maybe 2 pain dice, 3 pain dice. More difficult are 4 to 5 to 6. Everything above 6 dice, 6 pain dice is already quite difficult. And then basically, the player characters have to beat my number of successes. If they have, or get equal. If they get equal, they win. So if they have 3 dice that show 1, 2, or 3, that's 3 successes on their end. And if I have 2 dice that show 1, 2, or 3 with my pain dice, then they win. And they win not by 1, so you don't subtract them. They win by 3. So their full number of successes is valued. The more successes they have, the more significant their action is. 1 success is like barely succeeded. 2 is already quite decent. 3 is pretty much as good as a human can realistically get. Well, no, actually 4 is like, if you're like a top athlete and you have 4 successes in something, you've done something pretty amazing. Everything above 4 is basically supernatural. A human cannot reach more than 4 successes because a normal human never has more than 4 dice. More than 4 dice are only reserved for the awake, which is what the player characters are. People fully awake to all parts of the world, so to speak. Now, every player character starts the game with 3 discipline dice, which are the good dice. Discipline is the good part of a player character. When you roll discipline and you roll well, nothing bad can happen as such. Every character has, as I said, 3 discipline dice. Those never go up, but they can go down. 3 is already very good. Like, so the player characters are already, compared to normal people, already quite good at most things. We also start the game with 1 exhaustion for every character. Usually you start with 0, but because this is a one-shot, I am speeding things up a little bit. So player characters start with 1 exhaustion die. So basically what a dice pool does is you take all your discipline dice as a player character. You take however many levels of exhaustion you have. You can have between 1 and 6. If you get to 6, something really bad happens because your exhaustion is at the same time kind of like your health. So if you get to 6 levels of exhaustion, chances are very high that you're gonna basically be eliminated in one way or the other. You might die or you might fall asleep. Which is pretty much the same thing, really. There is a reason why this game is called Don't Rest Your Head, because once you get to that level, by being basically an insomniac, by not sleeping a few days, eventually your brain goes click, and you see the other world. You see the mad city. And once that happens, sleep is extremely dangerous for you, because if you sleep, you're probably going to die. So you want to stay awake at all times, which is fine as long as you don't have 6 exhaustion. If you reach 6 exhaustion, you're done. You have to give in to your tiredness, basically, that has been assembling over days, maybe weeks, or even months. Okay, so a player character can choose to, well, always rolls his current level of exhaustion dice. But when he rolls a check, he can always say, okay, I'm increasing my level of exhaustion by 1. I want to do that. I'm choosing to do that, which means that gives you more dice. And more dice is always good, because there are more chances for you to succeed with more dice. Because more dice means you can roll 1, 2, or 3 with a higher possibility, and you gain more successes. You can only increase your exhaustion level by 1 for each roll you make. So you can't say, okay, I have 1 exhaustion, but I'm going to roll 3 exhaustion dice because I'm increasing my exhaustion by 2. You can only increase your exhaustion by 1 with every check that you do. And then there's also things called madness dice. A player character can at any time choose to roll up to 6 madness dice. So madness is a very powerful tool, because you can add a lot of dice to your pool with this. However, there is a second. It's not only about successes and the number of successes against my pain dice. There's also something called the dominant pool. So whichever dice pool in the whole encounter, so to speak, so counting discipline dice, madness dice, exhaustion dice, and my pain dice, has the highest number. So say I roll a 6 with one of my pain dice, and you don't roll a 6 with any of your dice. That is the dominant pool. And depending on which pool is dominant, different things happen. If discipline is dominant, that is excellent for you, because that means you can decrease your current exhaustion by 1, or you can remove 1 check from either your fight or your flight boxes, the ones that your character has. Now, every character has fight or flight reactions, which basically happen in extreme circumstances. And once he chooses one of his fight or flight reactions, that box is ticked. And once all his boxes are ticked and something forces him to use another fight or flight reaction, bad things happen. Now, as I said, if discipline is dominant, exhaustion goes down by 1 if you want to. You don't have to do it, but if you want to. Or you remove one of the checks from one of your responses. If exhaustion is dominant, that means that you increase your exhaustion by 1. Which is not a good thing, because, it can be a good thing because it gives you more dice. But at the same time, it's a bad thing, because if you get to 6, you're done. So that's one of the cool mechanics of Don't Rest Your Head. Being able as a player character to say, okay, I can risk adding a few exhaustion dice, adding a few madness dice, and then I'll get more dice, chances of success are higher, and then we'll see what happens, basically. So as I said, exhaustion, you always roll as many exhaustion dice as your exhaustion level is, but you can choose to roll 1 die more than your current exhaustion level. But that means your exhaustion level is raised by 1. And if exhaustion is dominant, your exhaustion level is raised by another 1. So as soon as you get to 4, it's starting to get quite dangerous, basically. And 5 is already at the brink of death, by all means, really. Now, what happens when madness dice are dominant? Firstly, it means there's chaos added to the scene. So something goes chaotic, not necessarily wrong, because you can still succeed in a check when madness is dominant, but it just throws chaos into the element. Discipline means, if it's dominant, that the situation is under control. Exhaustion means that your resources are taxed. So basically you get tired or you get wounded or whatever. That's what it means when exhaustion is dominant, just like narrative-wise. If madness is dominant, you have to check one of those boxes, fight or flight. If no response boxes are free, then you snap. What happens when you snap will talk about this later. You don't instantly die, but bad things happen. So you are trying to avoid that as well. Just going batshit insane, even if it's just temporary, is not always a good thing. Mostly not a good thing. And as I said, I, as the game master, have pain dice. And I can roll successes as well. And if I roll more successes, you fail the action, whatever you're attempting. If pain is dominant, I get a coin of despair. Those of you who are watching this on YouTube sadly can't see it because YouTube doesn't show you roll 20. But on roll 20, we have two balls that the players can see, a white one and a black one. And we have coins next to it. So a coin of despair is placed in my black bowl every time that pain is dominant. I can use that coin to make your life hell, basically, to spend it and do things with it that you will see what you'll see what I can do with it once I do it. When I spent a black coin, however, one of my coins of despair, that coin turns into a coin of hope. So it wanders over to your white bowl, and you can use it to do one of the following things. You can either remove one exhaustion or one tick, but you can only do it when your character is having a break, so to speak. So you can't do it in the middle of action, but you have your breathing, so a little bit of breathing room, maybe sitting down, having a meal, or just relaxing for half an hour or so or something. That you can basically regenerate one level of exhaustion or one of those ticks. Or during a roll, you can add a single die to your discipline pool, and that die automatically rolls a 1. So you just add a 1, so which means that you add 1 success, basically. 1 automatic success in discipline. Okay, also, when you fail a check, so when the pain dice have more successes than your dice, you also take either 1 level of exhaustion or you tick one of the boxes. So failing is also not good. It's not just you fail something, so you have to face the narrative consequences. You also lose resources that your character has. Now, this might sound a little much, just all of a sudden, like all of it in total, but basically remember that you have 3 pools, 1, 2, or 3 on every die is a success. You always roll your full discipline. You always roll your full exhaustion. You can roll 1 exhaustion more if you want to, and you can roll up to 6 madness dice. Every character has what's called talents. 1 exhaustion talent that is triggered by exhaustion, and 1 madness talent. The madness talents are supernatural, and basically how they work is you say, okay, I want to use my madness talent, or describe this narratively, and then I say, okay, this use of the madness talent will trigger the roll of this many madness dice. So you're attempting something, you're trying to influence this attempt with your supernatural ability, whatever the ability is different from character to character, and which means you'll have to add a certain number of madness dice to the pool, which is good in some ways because it increases your chances, obviously, but it's also bad in other ways because, as I said, if madness is dominant, that is not a good thing. You don't want that. And the exhaustion talent that you have has 2 levels. There is the minor use of the exhaustion talent, which is fairly safe, and there is the major use. The minor use happens automatically when you do something that is connected to your exhaustion talent. Like, for instance, one of our characters has one of his exhaustion talent is being athletic. So whenever he's rolling for jumping, climbing, running, and things like that, he will add his current, he cannot have less successes than his current level of exhaustion. So if he has 3 levels of exhaustion, any athletics roll will have at least 3 successes, no matter what he rolls. If he rolls 3 successes, he will have 3 successes. If he rolls 2 successes, he will have 3 successes. If he rolls 1 success or 0 successes, he will still have 3 successes. That's the minor use of the ability. It doesn't cost you anything. So that's pretty safe to use. It also has the interesting effect that as you get more tired, as your character gets more tired, his abilities become more and more supernatural. Because, as I said, anything with 4 successes is already at the brink of what a human being can be capable of, even like a trained athlete. So if this character that has athletics as his exhaustion talent has 5 levels of exhaustion, every time he rolls in athletics, he will have at least 5 successes, which means that he's always supernatural. like better than a professional athlete every time he rolls athletics automatically. But as I said, it's sort of a resource management thing in Don't Rest Your Head. You don't want to really get to 5 athletics, but to 5 exhaustion. But then again, it's pretty awesome to be able to get that many successes for free. And then that's minor use. The difference between the minor use and the major use is the major use increases your exhaustion by 1, but it gives you additional successes. So if you have exhaustion, 2 exhaustion, when you use this ability, you roll all your dice and then you add 2 exhaustion to the successes you already have. It's not a minimum, it's an additional success. It's additional successes. However, increasing your exhaustion is always dangerous. So I hope that wasn't too complicated for your player characters. It's a little much to take in, but just feel free to ask me. I'm also still learning this. I've only really started reading the whole book yesterday. So we'll be learning together. Yeah, as I said, just try to remember what your abilities are, your exhaustion and your madness talent, and yeah, remember the pools. Remember, so discipline, you always roll full discipline. Exhaustion, you always roll full exhaustion, and you can roll 1 more if you want to. And madness, you can roll between 0 and 6. That's up to you. And the bigger your pool, the better for you, obviously, in some ways, because it's more likely for you to succeed. But the bigger your pool, especially if discipline is not the biggest part of your pool, the higher the chance that something different is dominant. And that's always bad, basically. Anyway, and that is it for the rules. Yeah, as I said, I hope that was halfway understandable. It takes a bit of time to wrap your head around the whole thing, how it works in detail. I'm still not quite sure if I myself I'm perfectly understanding it, probably not, but that's how much I figured so far. The rules are, in general, not that complicated, but I think when you're using it in the game, you'll realize like how all the things are playing together fairly quickly. And now, let us jump into the story. So, as our story begins, we are somewhere in the breathing, living world, the waking world, and we are in a city that we will just call the Gray City. It is a gray place without any significant features. People are living their lives in peace, but it is not a place where many things are going on. It is a large city, couple 100,000 people, and it's set somewhere in the world. The exact location isn't really important. Let's say it's set somewhere in the US, just to make it simpler. In this world, our 3 characters have been living their lives more or less successfully, but recently they've had some troubles. They were unable to sleep. They were going through long bouts of insomnia, and a few days ago, for each of them, something changed. Something bad happened in their lives. And they have a weird feeling ever since then, as if they can see things that they haven't seen before. Sometimes they spot movements out of the corners of their eyes, or sometimes they see windows or doors in buildings that they have not before noticed. Windows that seem to reflect things that should not be reflected in these windows. So far, they have shaken off the feeling, this weird feeling, put it down to, well, not being able to sleep for at least 3 or 4 days. That does weird things with your mind, of course. But they all have a task. They all have lost someone, and they're looking for that someone, basically, without wanting to unveil too much at the moment. Now, it is early evening on a Wednesday in summer. It is a rainy Wednesday, and all 3 of our characters have found their way to Sylvia's diner, a small, little shoddy diner, nonetheless filled with people talking and drinking coffee and having dinner. You are all not quite 100% sure what brought you to this diner, but there was something about it that basically pulled you in. You had the feeling that you would find answers in some ways in this diner. It was a weird subconscious decision, really. And you have made your way in. The diner is fairly full. There's a lot of conversations going. People are talking animatedly, ignoring you mostly. And the three of you have taken some of the last spots and have come to sit next to each other at the bar. Sylvia, an elderly lady with gray hair tied together to a bun, is busy walking around, refilling coffees. She's not a particularly good-looking lady, slightly overweight and with more muscles than many men. But she seems to have a nice smile on her face most of the time. And the prices are reasonable and the food seems okay for a diner. Coffee is warm, and probably at least some of you, maybe probably even all of you, have been drinking quite a lot of coffee recently, just to give you that little extra kick that you need to continue going, continue on searching, continue functioning, really, ever since your life was thrown out of balance. And that is where we start this adventure. As I said, our three characters are sitting next to each other at the bar. And I'll now, as always, give the players the chance to introduce their characters really quickly, give us a short description of what the character looks like, maybe a little bit of backstory if they so choose, and what they are doing in Sylvia's diner as night falls outside. And we'll be starting with Nick to my immediate left here. Sorry, wrong direction here. And his character. Go ahead, Nick, please introduce your character to us.
My character's name is Adam Young. Fairly young, college-age kid. Nondescript, pretty much, in appearance. He's got short blonde hair, wears just jeans and a t-shirt most of the time. Time doesn't see anyone like him just walking down the college campus. He's kind of jittery and irritable because he's not been sleeping, but anytime like the Sylvia comes and maybe asks if he wants more coffee, makes a point to be as polite as he can and very accommodating towards anyone who wants to interact with him.
All right. Yes, the characters have started talking a little bit, but mostly just like arguing and a few words about the weather, really. They're all tired and sort of a bit rough around the edges at the moment. Anyway, that was Nick's character, Mr. Adam Young. Moving over to Clayton's character. Go ahead, Clayton, please.
I am playing George O'Brien. He is a smartly dressed man, but that's only at a glance. If you looked a little bit more into it, you'd see the suit he's wearing is pretty much cheap off the rack. He goes out of his way to dress fancily and be polite and nice, but he clearly doesn't have a lot of... He isn't from money or doesn't have a lot of money. He has dirty blonde, almost brown hair, and he is very slowly just scanning the diner on almost instinct, as if he doesn't really know he's doing it.
All right. And that is Mr. O'Brien, Clayton's character. Moving over to Alex and her character. Please go ahead, Alex.
My character's name is Dylan Smith, and she's a sort of very small, short, chubby woman, a reporter, with dark hair that's sort of tied up in a messy bun and very big round glasses.
Okay.
She has a very happy air about her.
Okay. Unusual for this company as such, but nonetheless. So yeah, you're sipping your coffee. Some of you might be eating a little bit, stave off some hunger or just to pass the time. And none of you is really quite sure what you're doing here, but it sort of feels right to just be sitting on this old bar stool, leaning onto the bar, watching Sylvia walk past every now and then, and just making a little bit of small talk with the two people next to you, especially because the rest of the people in the bar don't really seem to give you much attention at all. Even the other people on the bar, like just sitting on the other bit further down the line have sort of turned their backs towards you and are talking to each other. Most of the people here seem regulars and seem to be known to each other, from what you have figured. But there's about, except for you, there's maybe about 20, 25 people, men and women mixed, in the diner itself. All of them look a little like they've had better times in their lives. These are not rich, successful people, but mostly they seem content. Okay, so what do you wish to do as you're just sitting there? Do you do anything specific?
I'll be looking at everyone I can and like just trying to remember any faces, see if there's anyone I recognize. If not, then just committing any faces I can to memory to see if I'll recognize them later.
Mm-hmm. You look at faces. There's no one here from campus. This is not a student crowd. Most of the people are a bit older, and they're sort of late 30s, early 40s, or beyond that are visiting here. So this is not your like intellectual student crowd. Let's say this is more of a working bar, so to speak. Working men and women coming here after they closed their small shops or did whatever they do professionally, and just come here to have dinner and relax and maybe catch up on some neighbors or friends or relatives or whatnot. But yeah, you can definitely start committing faces to memories. And as a quick explanation, one of Adam Young's abilities, his exhaustion ability, is he can memorize extremely well. So he has a very, very strong memory, basically. Okay, what about Mr. O'Brien and Miss Smith?
I'd like to also look around and just sort of see if there's any bad intent in people who are around,
Okay.
or if it's, like, what their expressions are.
Yes, your exhaustion power is to be able to read people very well. So you can roll me. The difficulty on this one is 2, because no one here is trying to conceal anything. So I'll be rolling 2 pain dice against you. And you are rolling your 3 discipline dice, and you're also rolling 1 of your exhaustion dice. And you can have you can't have less than 1 success because of your exhaustion ability. I'm guessing you don't want to use it in a major way. You're just using the minor use at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just going minor.
Okay, so roll me 3 dice first for discipline, and then 1 more dice for exhaustion. Unless you want to obviously take more, but I'm guessing you don't want to.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 4, a 5, and a 4 for discipline, which is no successes, and 1 exhaustion die. And that is also a 5. So that is not, so you have 1 success in total, which is your automatic success that you gain from your exhaustion ability. And I'll be rolling pain dice against that. And I have a 4 and a 5, which means that, oh, interesting. That is actually a very close call. So I have a 4 and a 5, so no successes as well, which means you succeed with 1 level. And dominant is, in this case, is discipline, because I have a 5 and exhaustion has a 5, but discipline also has a 5. So if they have the same number, then you go to the next higher one, which is a 4, which exhaustion doesn't have a next one, so that's out. I rolled another a 4 as well with my pain dice. So that's, again, a tie between discipline and pain. However, there's another 4, so we go to the next die. That is another 4 for discipline, and I don't have any more pain dice left because I only rolled 2 dice, which means that discipline carries the day. So your skill proves superior, which means we have, so the way we say this basically is 1 success, discipline dominant, which means because discipline is dominant, that you could now decrease your current exhaustion from that 1 point that you have to 0 if you wanted to. However, that will also mean that your exhaustion ability could not be triggered.
Yeah, I'm good with 1 exhaustion.
Okay, you keep the 1 exhaustion. So looking around, you see none of the people are particularly paying you any mind. They seem mostly good-natured people. You sense a little bit of aggression in a few of the blokes around, but it's mostly just latent and under the surface, nothing too bad. However, you do notice that there is one man sitting in one of the booths who is looking your way, and you sense a strong interest. You're not quite sure if it's focused on you specifically or maybe on one of the two other people that are sitting next to you, but he's definitely looking your way. He's a tall, lanky fella, maybe in his late 30s, who is wearing a small, like a bowler hat on his head and just slurping his coffee, clean shaven and dressed in a gray, fairly cheap looking suit. And while this is happening, what does Mr. O'Brien wish to do?
Would he have seen the man while he was just looking around at around the diner?
I would say no, because the diner is quite full and there's a lot of people.
All right.
You would have seen the man, but you wouldn't have noticed that he's looking at you.
Yeah. In that case, Brian would really be like having one hand on his coffee mug and then just sort of toying with something in his suit jacket.
All right, fair enough.
He's hesitating to pull something out.
Okay. So you're sitting there for a few moments. Dylan, you see the man looking over to you out of the corner of your eye. Not constantly, but quite a few times over the course of the few minutes. He's sort of sitting to your left, nearly in, like, you can't really see him unless you turn the head, but nearly every time you look over, you see him sort of looking out towards you out of the corner of his eye. Sylvia comes up to you and says, "Would anyone like some more coffee?"
Yes, thank
please.
you.
Yes, please.
Of course. She just pours in coffee into whoever holds out their mug and just nods and continues on her way, chatting with some of the regulars.
Does she chat with the...
No, actually, weirdly enough, she pretty much asks every single person if they want more coffee, sometimes just holding out the mug towards them without asking. But this man she ignores. It strikes you as a little odd. He just gives a little sad-looking smile as she walks past him.
I basically just chug my coffee as soon as I get it. I've been doing that the whole time.
Okay. And as you're doing that, the man stands up, the man that Dylan had an eye on all the time. He stands up and he walks around the bar, enters behind the bar, and takes a stool and sits down opposite you on the inside of the bar, so to speak, where only Sylvia is really permitted. Sylvia comes back with her coffee mug and she gives him a quick look, but then walks right past him without saying anything. He leans forward and looks at you and gives you a small, sad-looking smile and tips his head. "Good evening. I'm glad you could come."
Who are you?
Hello?
I'm not expecting to meet someone here.
You might not know it, but yeah, you are.
I shake his hand
He,
with a really awkward smile.
as you reach out your hand, he looks a bit surprised, but then shakes your hand in a fairly soft grip, and he says, "Well, my name's Melvin, Melvin Stanton. I am, or was once, an author. Now, this might sound weird, but I expected you to be here. I believe I can help you."
How?
It's hard to explain. Let me try. Please let me talk. Now, this will sound weird, but I know that each of you is looking for someone. For a daughter, he looks at O'Brien. For a nephew, he looks at Adam. For a friend, I guess, looking at Dylan. Now, I can't really explain how I know this. It's just a gift I have, I guess. But let me just say that I can figure out that you haven't been sleeping much recently, have you? If at all. Is that about right?
Well, yeah. I figure anyone could tell.
Well, yes. But I'm not just talking about a day or two. It's probably been more than that, right? 3, 4? How much? Do you even know what the last time was when you actually slept?
Probably about 4 days.
Right.
I lost count.
Yeah, that happens. God,
I don't remember, but I don't think it's anything to worry about.
Oh, well, maybe not. Listen, I can help you, I think. But I have to explain a few things first. I think I know where you can find the people you're looking for. I think they've been taken by the same people. Now, you might have noticed a few things over the last couple of days. Some weird things that are not quite the same as they were a few days ago when you were still having some sleep at night. Does that sound about right? Things that weren't there before, maybe?
Maybe.
I mean, I see things when I'm sleeping regularly sometimes. I just figured I was tired.
Well, you are, but it's more than that, I'm afraid. Now, this might sound crazy to you, but believe me, your lives have changed a lot, more than you think. Even though you might not feel it, you're awake now, the first time in your life. He looks around the diner and says, look at them. They're half asleep at best, some of them even more. You've been like them. Well, hell, I've been like them only a couple months ago. You've been like them maybe until a few days ago or so. We are awake. You're like me and some others. You can see things that other people can't see, and the world around you reacts differently to you. Let me show you. He stands up and he walks a little down the bar, still staying on the inside, to the next people standing there. And he reaches out and he takes the beer mug of a fairly burly looking man with blondish hair and a sort of stubbled face and a slightly crooked nose. And he takes the beer and drains it, puts it back down on the bar in front of the guy, looks at the guy, and the guy looks down to his beer, looks at him, and takes the beer, looks inside and raises a hand and says, Sylvia, one more of those mugs, please. And then just turns away, talking to his friend again. And this man, Melvin, as he introduced himself, or Mr. Stanton, comes back to you and sits back down. You see that? Did you see that? Now, those of us who are awake, they're not quite the same as they were before. The world doesn't always seem to see them. Many people ignore us. But there's other things that don't. dangerous things. Not humans. Some of them might look human. Some of them might even have been human once. But they're not. They come from the other city. The mad city. This city we live on, they call the city slumbering. The city of those asleep. Now, those things, some of them have taken those you're looking for. I don't know why, but I'm sure it's not for any good purpose. There are no good purposes when it comes to the nightmares.
You're saying a lot of things, but
Well, I am saying a lot of things.
doesn't make any sense.
I know. I had the same reaction. Listen, I know what you've been going through. I know exactly what you've been going through. I've been going through the same thing, 6 months ago. I don't know how to tell you, but I mean, you have to believe me. How else do you explain all the things I know about you?
You're in on it.
You could be a stalker.
That's actually explanation. That's possible. You're right. I could be in on it, but let me assure you, I'm not in on it. I mean, why would someone kidnapping your daughter come up to you and tell you all kinds of bullshit? I mean, I know you were a cop once. You probably know when people are lying to you fairly well. You probably have questions. I'll try my best to answer them or prove that my words are true. I'm not quite sure how or why. I wasn't never gifted with my tongue. Even as a writer, I can write a dialogue, but doing it here in the waking world, the city slumbering, is not as easy. He looks at you slightly confused and worried.
Okay, so start with what we want to hear. If you say you can help us find the people, then
Right. Right. So I don't know who took them, but I think they must be in the Mad City. I can't sense them here, and I could if they were here. That doesn't make any sense. I know. The awake, we awake have gifts. Some of them different to any other person. Any of the sleeping ones, them, he points at the other people in the diner. My gift is being able to draw people to me and generally know where they are and see them from a distance in some ways. That's why you came here. I was hoping I could help. No one helped me. And I didn't want you to go through the same thing. But now... Wait.
what's wrong?
Oh, shit. He slowly stands up, looks around. So you see his eyes are going wide. Now, listen. Leviathan Road. 412 Leviathan Road. That's the address. That's where you find answers. The snowmen are coming. They must be in my trail. Now listen, you haven't been to the other side yet. You haven't been to the Mad City yet. You're new. You don't have the scent yet. They won't be able to sense you probably. They'll be here soon. I need to go. You just don't try to draw any attention. Just keep calm and ignore them if you can. Don't draw their attention. Everything will be fine. I'll see you. I'll see you. And just runs towards the back door of the diner where it says exit, pushes it open, and runs out into the rain, closing the door behind him. You can just see his pale face casting one look over his shoulder towards you, and then he continues running and the door closes.
Did he say snowman?
I think so. I mean, he was crazy, right?
Yeah, I think he just needed some sleep, right?
I think we all need some sleep.
But I mean, he was right though. I am looking for someone.
So am I.
It's not like we. I mean, I didn't come here. I just came here. It was. Oh crap!
I mean, I probably had a reason to come here.
It was just a coincidence. Don't read too much into it.
I don't know, man.
While you're talking, you slightly shiver. And you're like looking around for maybe an open window or something, because there's a cold draft in the room all of a sudden. It's like the temperature is slightly sinking, has plummeted a few degrees. Not uncomfortably cold, but noticeably so.
Do I know of a Leviathan Road?
No, not that you can recall. I mean, it's a large city, so you wouldn't know all the roads, but no, it's definitely not here somewhere in the inner city, not around the university or anything.
Would I?
No, you don't know either. You think for a moment, but you don't recall one. You know the city fairly well, but again, you don't know all the cities. It could be like all the roads. It could be like something at the edge of town or some small back alley or something. It's definitely none of the main streets, because you know all the names of the main streets, being an ex-cop, basically.
I mean, can I pull out like a phone and go on Google Maps or something to see if I can find it?
Okay. Putting in Leviathan Road, you don't find anything. The closest match is a Leviat Road. So without the H-A-N, just Leviat Road. That's the closest one you can find matching.
Can I go up to one of the people who I like sort of read as being not angry?
Yep. As Adam is typing away his phone, and George is sitting there thinking about, maybe I've heard this name before. You stand up, you turn, and then you stop, and you feel a slightly stronger shiver going through you, and the room is now noticeably cold. But except for maybe 2 or 3 other people, the people in the diner don't seem to notice it much. They're just chatting away, drinking, eating. A couple people just like maybe pull their scarves a little closer. Or one gentleman puts his coat, jacket back on that he had taken off. But that's the only thing you see. And then the door opens, and you can see 2 figures walking in. 2 men, tall, thin, extremely pale, wearing a black raincoats, their hoods back, and you can see short black hair, and everything about them is just colorless, black, not even proper black. It's more of a dark gray. Their skin is the only thing that sticks out. It's a very strong, unnaturally pure white. Nearly, you're like, for a moment you think like he must be drug addict or something to have that sort of skin tone. And then you see, as they start moving through the diner, walking down the aisle, so to speak, towards the back where you are, as they pass, color leaches out from the environment around them, as if they have a bubble around them that turns everything black and white. First, the colors just go dimmer, less intense, a large red handbag that's standing on a table turns into this dirty orange brown. And then as they continue walking into dark gray, it is as if everything around them shifts to accommodate their tones. They're these gray, washed out figures. They both look very similar. They're very nondescript faces without any significant marks or anything, and they look nearly identical. Definitely closely related or something along those lines. You can't really put an age to them. They're somewhere between 30 and 50 maybe, but it's very hard to tell. And they're just moving slowly, but with a purpose. And they're coming because you stood up and you wanted to go down back into the front of the diner to talk to some of the people. They're pretty much coming straight at you. The other people in the diner don't seem to really notice them, or at least not paying them much attention. And so, yeah, and Dylan, you're the only one who saw them so far. Adam and George, you're both busy, but you feel the cold as well, and you're starting to slowly sort of look up and start looking around, shivering a little.
Well, I don't know about Leviathan, but I found Leviathan.
And as you look up, you see those three figures as well, moving through the room.
I'm still going to proceed to go over to one of the people who didn't seem angry. Just pretend that nothing is wrong.
So you walk past them in the aisle?
Like, how far down the aisle did they get by the time I saw them?
Well, they're coming pretty much straight. You're sort of sitting at the back side of the shop of the diner. You know, but diners are like long and thin, with like benches on both sides, and then there's the bar. They're coming, so pretty much they're coming straight at you now. You guys were like at the far end of the bar, not far away from the exit door. Basically, at the back, leading to a back alley.
Mm-hmm.
And George, you look up as well, and you also now spot them.
That would mean technically, yes, I'd walk past them to get to people, wouldn't it?
Yes, you would.
Sure.
Okay, so you, how do you walk past them? Do you push past them, or do you want to stand aside so they can walk past you, or what do you do?
I stand aside. I let them walk past, just sort of very politely, very properly.
Okay. Do you nod to them, or wave, or smile, or anything, or just stand there?
I smile whilst looking down.
Okay. You feel, when they walk past you, you feel like the cold is getting quite intense. Not painfully, but it's, if you spend more time in that sort of cold, you would probably feel pain. It's just like a sudden cold breeze moving past you, but slowly. As they move past, and are now, you can see their backs, they're just walking with small footsteps slowly down the aisle towards where Adam and George are sitting.
Yeah, if she's gotten past them, I'll walk past as well.
Okay. Just holding your phone in one hand, walking up.
Yeah.
Okay. They seem to be ignoring you as you walk past.
I think those are the snowmen.
As you whisper, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. George, what about you? You're now sitting alone by yourself at the end of the bar.
I'm going to get up and there like a register at the other end of the bar?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I'm going to get up and just get out my wallet and act like I'm going to go pay.
Excellent. They walk behind you, and you're like looking over your shoulder a little bit out of the corner of your eye, keeping an eye on them. And you also feel this cold breeze slowly moving past. And they walk through the diner, walk through the back door. One of them puts a hand onto the back door. And George, because you're close enough, you can actually see there's a little bit of ice grows in the back door where he puts his hand on. And his hand is as pale as his face. Just a nondescript white hand. He pushes the back door open, and they both walk out, and the back door slowly swings shut behind them. Sylvia comes over to you, George, and you pay a couple dollars for the coffee and the food, if you had any food. She gives you a nod. She seems slightly sort of thinking of other things, slightly distracted or something, not really giving you that much attention, just giving you a quick nod, taking your money, giving you some change back, and then moving on.
So, I don't know about you guys,
has
but
now returned into the diner in the wake of these two visitors.
I'm gonna go check out this Leviat Road place. Maybe it's the right place. It's more than I've got right now.
I'd still like to go over to one of the customers who
Yeah,
don't
yes,
seem
you can.
angry.
Certainly. You walk up to a couple that are sitting there, an elderly couple, elderly, like in their 50s or so. They look both a little tired from a hard day's work, probably, but they look friendly. You sense that they seem fairly friendly.
Okay, I asked them if they know a Leviathan Road or have heard of such a thing.
The woman looks up, gray-haired, older lady, as I said, fairly well-kept all in all, gives you a slightly confused-looking smile and says, I'm sorry, miss, what did you say?
Have you ever heard of a Leviathan Road?
Leviathan? No, that's a monster from the Bible. I doubt anyone would name a road after that sort of thing. I mean, the man says, well, on the other hand, they name roads after all kinds of people and creatures nowadays, don't they, dear? She says, I suppose that's true. And then they sort of go back to chatting and drinking their coffee, ignoring you.
Darn. Adam? Did Adam say the thing about the Leviathan Road?
Yeah, you heard him say that.
Yeah, I was like speaking up to the two of you, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, yeah, I agree. We should check that out. That's probably the closest lead we have.
Okay. So George comes up to you, I'm guessing, after he finished paying.
So, are we going to check out Leviat Road?
Yeah, Melvin said 412 Leviathan Road, so maybe he just got it wrong. He was kind of in a hurry at the end there. On the Google Maps thing, can I like see what 412 Leviat Road is? If it's like a house or a
Yeah, it
store?
does seem to be a house. It's pretty much on the outskirts of town. It's a good maybe 20, 25 minutes drive from where you are at the moment. It seems to be just a single house, like a single family house, basically, from what you can tell. It's on the end of Leviat Road. It's the very last house. Leviat Road seems to be a fairly long road that's sort of meandering its way through one of the suburbs, and then at the very end, that's the last house on the road.
All right, so I guess I'll get a taxi. I'll go and we can all chip in.
Sorry, what was that, George? Or Clayton? Did you say something?
Yeah. Would George have driven himself?
I'm pretty sure you have a car, yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably not the very new, super top model or anything, but you would for sure have a car.
Yeah. Well, if we're going to check out Leviat Road, my car is in the parking lot.
Okay. I call shotgun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works.
Okay. Yeah, you head out into the rain and like pull up your coats or put your hats up, and George leads you to his car, a sort of middle-aged Ford that's seen a little better days, but it's still good enough. And you get in, and yeah, George starts the engine, and you slowly get going. Adam sitting in the back seat and basically giving directions because you have the phone. And it's not until about 5 minutes have passed that Adam and Dylan, you both noticed that you haven't really paid.
I don't really want. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, you forgot to pay at the diner, but no one seemed to have stopped you. So you didn't, and you were sort of preoccupied. So
Oops.
Yeah. Oh well.
I mean, it was only a couple of coffees, like $10 each, maybe. But
Oh,
still.
that's so much money. I feel so bad for that woman now.
Hey, $10 could buy me so much ramen. I'm not gonna complain.
Okay. You drive through the rain. Just changing the music real quick. Yeah, the headlights of many cars passing by. The rain is not extremely strong, but it's a decent downpour. So the window wipers are going all the time. While you're driving, the headlights piercing through the rain, other cars passing by. There's a lot of cars on the road. It is sort of early evening. People are heading home from work or heading into town to celebrate Wednesday evening or so, depending on what kind of people we're talking about. And you're quiet in the car mostly, or do you wish to talk about anything on the way?
Yeah. So.
So who are you guys looking for?
I don't see how that's anyone's business but my own.
Okay.
But you two saw those guys in the diner, right?
Yeah.
I think I can't remember his name. I'm so sorry.
Melvin.
Yeah. I think Melvin might have been telling the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some weird stuff lately, and that was weird too. So, oh man, I'm not ready for this.
I'm sure it's not as bad as we think it is. Or as we
Yeah, it might be
described it.
worse.
Yeah. No. Let's just keep a positive attitude, my new friends.
All right, I'll try.
Okay.
George just rolls his eyes.
Okay. You reach the suburbs. There's less cars here now. The rain has picked up a little more. It's starting to turn into a real downpour. And you have a bit of trouble finding Leviat Road first. But after about 10 minutes or so searching around, you finally find the right exit from like the main road and realize Leviat Road is not a very large road. It looked larger on Google Maps. It's a long one for sure, but it's like this weird little crooked, nearly like an alley, but it goes on and on, at first through several like apartment buildings and past several apartment buildings and through an area that's doesn't seem very nice. There's warehouses on both sides. It's very dark. You can see a couple of people with flashlights walking around. It doesn't look like the nicest part of town. But once you get through this area, you actually get out into fields. So now there's single small houses with gardens around them and a few fields behind the houses. You see a couple of houses further up a hill, and that is where the road is going. It's sort of meandering its way up the hill. A little crooked, weird road. Most of the houses do not have any numbers on them from what you can see, but maybe it's just too rainy to see anything and too dark. And not many houses have light on. Most of the houses are dark here. Some of them look abandoned even as you drive past. The windows are barred shut. And like just posts, newspapers and such just overflowing on front of the house, not completely wet in the rain, of course. A few dogs bark as you drive past. You can hear their in the rain. And then you see the last bit of the road and a single house standing at the end, close to the top of the hill, surrounded by what looks to be a small batch of trees, like a tiny forest, about maybe 50 or 60 trees. And you also see, as you approach, in your headlights appearing a police car standing in front of the gate of this house.
Oh, this is good. Really good.
It appears out of the rain, and you can see a shape sitting inside, as if there seems to be one person inside the car. And the road basically ends just past the house in a small parking slot, which is empty. It holds is enough space for maybe 4 or 5 cars.
Well, let's see what all this is about.
Well, I mean, guys, I don't know how to deal with the cops. Never had to.
Are the car's lights flashing?
No. There is a little bit of light in the car, but it's not flashing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure if the police is here, everything is under control. So I don't think you have to worry, Adam.
They're usually here when things aren't going well, right? That's...
Yes, but they keep things under control.
Okay.
Well, if we want answers, we either have to go talk to the officer, or we have to go knock on the door.
So what do you want to do? You're now driving past the police car slowly as you have slowed down. And you can see the road coming to an end in front of you. George, what do you want to do with your car?
George would slow down and sort of roll down his window. And roll down the window on whatever side.
Oh, well, it's raining quite heavily. So if you roll down the window, your car interior will get quite wet, I'm afraid. Do you still want to do it?
No, he'll go and turn around in the parking lot and sort of drive back and park.
Okay. Where do you want to park?
Like right in front of the house.
Okay. Your car comes to a standstill. You can park, sort of pull 2 of the wheels out onto like a little batch of ground that's in between the road and the car, road and the house, I mean. And you can see there is a small fence, like a stone fence, maybe about, I don't know, 3 feet tall or so, or maybe 4 feet tall. And there's a few bushes, dark shapes, and maybe 2 or 3 trees surrounding the house. There's a little bit of light on inside the house, but most of the house is dark. It's a medium-sized house. Has a ground floor and the first floor, or for American people, a first floor and the second floor. As you stop, you can see the door of the policeman's car opens up, and a policeman with his hood up, dressed in a raincoat, it says police on top, comes jumping out and looks over at your car and then comes over towards you through the rain.
Oh, crap, you guys. This was a bad idea.
And he steps up to the driver's window, and you can see an older face with a mustache, a man in his maybe mid-50s or so, and he knocks onto the window.
Oh, I was muted. Do I recognize him?
No, you do not. You're pretty sure that this is must be a different police department in this area of the town. This is on the the suburbs. You are like in the central area, CBD, whatever you call it, of town.
I'm gonna roll down the window.
Yeah, he sort of leans forward, looking in, holding a flashlight in one hand, and just one hand is sort of close to his gun, not like drawing it or anything, but he's a little tense. And his flashlight isn't on, so he peers into the car, and then he switches the flashlight on, a bright light into the car, just shines around, and says, "Can I help you?"
Yeah. We might have gotten a little lost.
All right. What are you looking for?
We're looking for 412 Leviathan Road.
No, this This is Leviat Road.
Yeah, this was the closest match on Google, and we're trying to find it. And would you happen to know the way?
I haven't heard of any Leviathan Road. No, sorry. You must be completely wrong. Probably in a different part of the city. I know all the roads around here. None of them's called Leviathan. I mean, this is 412, but Leviat, not Leviathan.
Is there something wrong here? Like, why are you...
You asking him?
Yeah. Like, have we just like
Shines the
pulled
light
up to a
back
crime scene?
Hasn't seen you yet, sort of shines the light into the back scene, blinds you for a moment, then shines the light down onto the ground and says, yeah, there's been a crime committed here, but that's nothing for you to worry about. Just keep driving and have a nice evening.
Right.
Okay, goodbye.
Thank you for your help anyway.
Of course. That's what we're here for, yeah? And he steps away from the car, switches off his torchlight, puts it back away, and walks back to his car. And you see him shaking himself and leaping back into the car, closing the door behind him.
Guys, I don't think this is a coincidence. Some guy told us a road, and we went to the closest road, and we're chasing after missing people, and now there's a crime at this place. This isn't good.
I just wish that there was some way we could be sure this was the right place.
We could... I mean, there's only one guy here, right? We could pull on down later and then come look in a window or something, right?
There's no way of knowing how long you'll be, but...
Now, you know that policemen usually are at least in twos, so there's at least one more guy here. Maybe up to maybe up to 3 more guys. Could be up to 4 policemen in one car, technically.
I know there's at least one more officer somewhere, whether he's in the house or not.
Look, we gotta look into this place. It's the only lead. I'm gonna look here. If you can just drop me off at a little place down the road, and I'll come look myself if you want. But I'm not leaving here without taking a look.
Neither was I.
Okay, good. I didn't want to do it alone.
So George will pull away and drive off like
Yep.
he somehow has some idea of where he's going again. And then once they're out of view of the police officer, like maybe a couple streets over, or just maybe.
Oh, the rain is very heavy, and it's now like close to about maybe 8:30 or so. So the sun is well and truly going down. So you don't have to drive very far. 100 yards or so will do it. But basically to the next house, and you can park in the driveway there or something if you want to.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay. So you park in front of the next house, just half in the driveway, basically. There's a little bit of a gate in front of you. The house is dark, that one.
You don't have umbrellas, do you?
Well, I'm assuming you did bring your umbrellas because it has been raining most of the day. So you would either have like raincoats or a hat or something, or an umbrella or something along those lines.
Oh, yeah.
George would probably have just a raincoat.
All right.
Same with Dylan.
Okay. So you both put on your
Oh,
raincoats, draw your hoods above your head.
Okay. Let's do it. I get out of the car.
What kind of rain protection is Adam packing?
Just some kind of jacket.
Okay, so your head is free. You're just getting wet, but yeah, at least your body is dry. Okay, the rain is, as I said, quite heavy now. It's turning to a bit of a downpour. There's no thunder or anything. It's not a storm, but yeah, it's just constant heavy rain.
I take the hood off my jacket and give it to Adam.
Oh, Thanks.
But now you're getting wet.
That's okay.
Okay. Your hair starts so half sticking in your face. Okay, what
Okay.
do you do?
Just start walking towards the house, avoiding the road, I guess.
Sure, there's a field in between
Yeah.
the house and that one. It's just grass and a little bit of mud now, obviously. The road is actually slightly raised, so you go down a little, maybe like 3 or 4 yards downhill, and then across the field, pushing your way through the mud. Every step is like it's like walking through a swamp nearly. And you are approaching the house from the side, where the trees are. There's about maybe 2 rows of trees, about 7 or 8 trees in between you and the house as you're approaching it from the house's right-hand side, so to speak. The road is in front of the house, obviously.
So I just hurry up to a tree and find a window
Okay.
on the side, and I'm like, okay, so just go for it and look, right?
There is the
Sneaky.
fence between you and the house, but you can look over the fence. Obviously, as I said, it's only like maybe chest height for you, and it's easily climbable if you want to do it. You can see there's light in 2 windows inside the house, one on the top floor and one what looks to be towards the front of the house, like the entryway, basically. The rest of the house seems dark.
I climb over the fence and move along the wall of the house until I reach the lit window. And
Okay.
George,
Yep. Sorry, go ahead.
George will quickly follow Adam.
All right.
Dylan will also awkwardly follow.
So you climb over the wall, push your way through the rain, reach the wall of the house, and follow it until you are at the front of the house. You can now see this iron grate gate and the police car standing in front of it. You can see the back of the car, basically. The police car is facing the road. You can just barely make out the silhouette of the policeman that you talked to, still sitting in the car and looking away from you, obviously.
good, I was going to wait until he was not looking at us.
You peek in through the window, and you see a foyer, basically, with a set of stairs leading up, and what looks to be beyond, what looks to be like a dining room that is dark. And there's only about 3 or 4 steps to your right is a wooden entry door, like a reddish painted wood.
I tell what I see and just like, I don't see anything else. It's just a house.
But
Got that
something
second
happened in
floor
there?
one. Apparently, there's a light on up top though. Is it like climbable to where you get up there? Like, is there a tree nearby or?
Yeah, there is actually, yes. You could try to climb a tree a lot in the darkness, and with the tree being wet, it's a bit of a tricky thing to do. I mean, you'll have to roll, let's put it that way. It's not super difficult, but it's not an automatic success by any means. However, if you climb up the tree a little bit, you could peek in through one of the windows that is lit.
All right. I guess one of us can climb a tree and take a look.
All right,
Sure.
Okay.
stand back.
This is a difficulty 3.
Yep.
I'm using 3 pain dice because of the rain and the darkness. Yeah, let's say 3. It's an average roll. So you're rolling your 3 discipline dice and 1 exhaustion die, and if you want some more, or are you happy with that?
I guess I'll just.
You can roll up
I
to
will-
madness dice, remember, if you want.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll roll 2. You said a 6, right? Or was it 4?
Sorry?
I'll roll 2 madness dice. Just
Okay, so that's 3 discipline dice, then 1 exhaustion die, and then 2 madness dice.
yeah.
So that's 6 dice in total against my 3. Ooh,
Okay, that's good. That's great.
you have 2 successes, and I have 2 successes as well, which means
Good.
you win because you win at a draw. However, my highest pain is a 5, so exhaustion is dominant, which means you gain 1 level of exhaustion.
I can live with that.
You basically climb up the tree and you make it up, but you slip and try to climb again. And as you come out there, you're breathing heavily and shaking your head.
Okay.
A little muddy, obviously, as well. And pieces of bark sticking to your clothing. You know,
Just flash a thumbs up down to the other 2.
you look down and you see, well, not down, over into the building, and you see what looks to be a bedroom. You see the corner of a large bed, like an older, not an antique as such, but like an older style bed with like bed posts. And you see a wardrobe, and you see 1 policeman standing there with a notebook and like maybe an iPad or something, and writing down something. And you see him from the side. He's a tall, blonde fella, cleanly shaven, and he seems to be talking to someone else. You see him. You see his lips moving, and he is gesturing with the pen that he's holding in his hand. And then a moment later, you see a second policeman, a woman. This one, a dark-haired woman in her maybe mid-20s or so. Standing up, and this one is not wearing a full uniform, but she is wearing a jacket that has CSI on the back.
So I panic a little bit and hide further behind the tree.
Okay, you shrink back into the foliage a little. They seem to be talking for a bit, and then the woman nods a couple times, pulls out a phone, has a short conversation, maybe like half a minute or so, then puts it back down, nods to the man, and he nods as well, flips his iPad closed, grabs a satchel, puts it in there, and leaves the room through the door. Or are you assuming that's what he's doing anyway?
I stage whisper down so that my 2 companions can hear. There's 2 cops. I think they're leaving.
Give a really big thumbs up.
George will look into the window and see if they come downstairs.
Yeah, you actually see 1 man, a tall fella in a uniform, coming down the stairs, and then he stops for a moment, and he wearing a satchel, like carrying a satchel under 1 arm, and he takes what looks to be a discarded raincoat, a police coat that you very, very well recognize because you still own probably one, still somewhere at home. He takes it, pulls it over, and comes towards the door, opens the door, and the door doesn't seem to be locked or anything. He just pushes it open, steps out into the rain, raises his shoulders a little, and then without really looking left or right, hurries through the driveway, opens the gate, and enters the door, like the second door on the front, basically. Sits down next to the driver, and then closes the door. You hear a thud as the car door is closed. The woman, in the meantime, has disappeared out of sight. You're not quite sure where she is.
Good. CSI is still in there. I'll crawl back down the tree and meet back up with everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, it looked like they were talking to someone, so just doing their cop thing. There was one more, and she hasn't left yet, so I think we can go in.
Did you actually see another person, or was it just the 2 cops?
There was another person he was talking to, right?
He was talking to the woman, you think. I mean, there might be another person that you haven't seen yet, but you've only seen about maybe, I don't know, half the room or so.
Right. I mean, it wasn't the best vantage position. I was also trying to not be seen. So,
Well, the door's not locked if we want to go inside.
okay, if we go inside and we get caught, what do we do?
If we go inside and get caught, we get arrested for trespassing and possibly tampering with evidence.
Oh, good. It's not actually good.
But considering that you two walked out without paying, we might be able to just stay out of the way and have them not notice us.
I mean, that was a crowded diner, and we were just two people leaving.
God help me, I can't remember that man's name to save my life.
Melvin?
Thank you. Someone's on top of it. Hold on, I'm going to write it down.
Like a real policeman, write everything down.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
Same.
Well, Melvin took beer from a biker without him seeming to care or notice.
Right. Okay.
So our goal here is to just stay out of the way.
I think we can do that. Definitely.
Worth a try.
Okay, so what do you want to do? Sneak into the house?
Yeah.
Okay. So you sneak up to the front door, keeping an eye on the policeman in the car. They seem to be talking with each other, not really paying attention what's going on behind them. Who's going in first?
I will.
Okay.
I'll
You
go in
push
next.
open the door opens without any problems, and you step inside, and you're now standing in the foyer. Light is in the room that you're standing in, and you can see, as I said, there's a door immediately to your left, and then there is a hallway going also to your left, and in front of you is just an opening, not a doorway, not a door as such, that leads into a large dining room type of room that is dark. You just see the silhouette of a large table and like 6 or 7 chairs standing around it, and a
Just in case.
staircase that leads up.
Guys, just in case, we should take our shoes off outside so we don't leave muddy footprints so they can follow us. I take my shoes off.
Okay.
I do too.
And what do you do with your shoes?
Just set them right outside the front door, like off to the side on the porch.
Okay, fair enough.
And they won't notice that.
There's already a couple shoes there, by the way. 2 pairs of men's shoes and 3 pairs of women's shoes.
Okay.
George takes off his shoes and puts them next to the other shoes
Okay.
and walks in.
I'll also take off my raincoat so I don't drip water everywhere.
And you leave that outside as well?
Sure.
Okay.
George will just hang his coat where the police officer hung his.
All right, sure. The police officer just had it tossed over a chair, basically.
Oh.
Okay, give me, as you walk in and do all this, give me stealth checks, everyone. So, as always, same thing. I'm rolling 2 pain dice because the police officer upstairs is distracted, and it is raining heavily, which dampens the sound a little, so to speak. So it's a fairly easy check, but still nonetheless. So, and you're rolling your discipline, 1 exhaustion die, except for Adam, who's rolling 2 exhaustion dice now. And if you want madness dice, but I don't think you'll need them really. So you should have 4 dice against my 2.
For the lulls, I will toss in 2 madness.
Oh, whoops.
That's
So yeah, neither of those exhaustions are. I forgot I have to do that separately.
one more d6, yes. What?
I tossed in 2 madness dice.
Oh, wow, okay. Cool. So we have George, who has, let's see. That is 1 success, 3 successes.
Yeah.
And discipline dominant. Excellent. So you can remove one of your exhaustions if you wish.
I think wouldn't it be 4 successes since I automatically succeed
No,
with
stealth is not athletics.
Okay.
Okay.
Now keep my exhaustion.
Okay, you keep your exhaustion. And Dylan has 3 successes, also discipline dominant. Nice.
I got 1 success in discipline dominant, so
Are you sure that discipline? Oh, discipline is dominant. You're right. You have a 5. Yes. So you can remove exhaustion if you wish.
I will not. I'm okay with 2.
And you had how many successes?
1.
1 success. And we have Clayton is easily has easily enough successes, and we have Dylan who has 3 successes as well. Okay, so Dylan and Clayton, sorry, Dylan and George, I mean, easily get rid of your clothing and make it in without being heard. However, as Adam is coming in, he as he's taking his jacket off, he bumps a little like a basket that's holding 2 umbrellas. He catches one of the umbrellas with his jacket as he's taking it off, and the basket tips over and both umbrellas land on the ground.
I pick him up and walk straight into one of the dark rooms.
Okay, as you do so, you hear a voice, a female voice coming from upside saying, "Is that you, Frank? Frank?" Okay, so Dylan is, sorry, Adam is moving into the dining room with both umbrellas, grabbing both umbrellas. What are George and Dylan doing?
I follow Adam.
Okay.
George is gonna open the door to the left just slightly and look inside.
It is a coat room, a small room with a bunch of like coats hanging down there, about 5 or 6 coats.
He's gonna close that door and follow the other 2.
Okay. As you are now in the dining room, you hear footsteps above you, and a woman's voice going, "Frank? James?"
Guys, I told you this was a bad idea. No, I didn't, but I was thinking it.
George just puts a finger over his lips and like, be quiet kind of gesture.
You hear another sound in the house, a door opening and closing with a fairly loud, like someone throwing a door closed. And you hear the female cop going, "Hello? Who's that?
This sound like
Mr. Stanton?"
Can we hear which door it is?
Yeah, she's
Like where-
right above your head, so she must be standing on top of the stairs.
No, which one?
She said Stanton.
Was she the one who slammed the door?
Sorry?
Was she the one that slammed the
No,
door?
it came from a different corner of the house.
She said Mr. Stanton, right?
Yes, she did.
Guys, Melvin's last name was Stanton.
Hello?
It was.
That door definitely wasn't us.
You can hear footsteps from somewhere coming from the left, down the corridor, on the ground floor. 2 pairs of footsteps, very synchronized, like 2 men marching in order.
Guys, this is bad. What do we do?
You hear footsteps coming down the stairs, and a female voice going, "Who is there? Come out! This is a crime scene. Show me your hands." You see now two shapes appearing and passing past the entrance to the dining room where you're hiding. And you see, weirdly enough, they're dressed in police uniforms, but they're British police uniforms. You know, like London bobbies with these tall helmets and these dark blue checkered uniforms, sort of. And they move past there, and they're both sort of swinging batons like around in their hands, leisurely. And there's something a bit weird about them.
Are they like coming towards us?
No,
or going?
they walk past the opening of the. They're walking towards the stairs, and you can see now. Oh, here now. Who are you? What are you doing? What? This? Show me your hands. Stop! Don't come closer. Hear a voice going, "You are trespassing." What do you mean I'm trespassing? This is a crime scene. This is not your jurisdiction. A second voice saying, "We are taking over." What? Who are you? Why are you dressed like this? What's going on? I have two of my colleagues in a car outside. You are relieved of your duty, woman. You can leave. Now, we are taking over. This is our jurisdiction. And then the second voice going, "Do as my colleague says." I don't follow. Identify yourselves. Who are you?
If I like turn on the camera on my phone, can I sort of sneak forward and hold it around to get a look without fully exposing myself?
Give me a stealth check, but yes, you can try. And that is that's only difficulty 2 because they are distracted, all 3 of them.
I'm not adding any madness, so
Okay. Did you remove 1 exhaustion, by the way?
I did not know.
Okay.
So that's 3.
That is 3 successes. Nice. Well, I can't beat that. And discipline carries the day. Discipline dominates. So you sneak around and you hold your phone out. You're looking at the phone, basically at the camera, and you see the two policemen standing there at the foot of the stairs. The policewoman that you've seen before standing there with her gun, pointing at them, like halfway up the stairs, and they're still both swinging their batons. You also see something weird. They have something on their backs. It looks like, you know, those clockwork mechanisms that you sort of use to what you call that?
Wind it up?
Wind clocks up. Yeah, they have these little key things sticking out of their backs, silverish metal. It's super weird. You're not quite sure what's going on.
Guys, she's got her gun out and they have keys in their backs.
What do you mean keys?
Like clocks.
We are taking over as commanded by Officer Tok. If you are not happy with this, contact your superiors and we will contact ours. Leave, woman. We are giving you a chance.
You said
This
that
is against the rules. It is not your jurisdiction. What are you talking about? I'll calling my colleagues right now, and you can see her taking out a phone with the other hand, typing in a few numbers. And as she does so, both of the men start moving up the stairs towards her. She for a moment hesitates, but then trails her gun at them and takes 2 shots. Stop! And then 2 shots that shoot through the air. She hits one of the men. He stumbles backwards, but the other one leaps up and brings his baton down, hitting her in the face. She goes down, and the other man, righting himself back up, also jumps her, and they just...
Guys, they're fucking killing her.
Oh no.
And then they stop in silence. You're still peeking around, and you can see they both raise up in very synchronous move. Both of them coming up at the same time. One of them says, Officer Tok will not like this. It does not matter. Take the other woman and let us go. We have a report to make. It was within our jurisdiction to do so. Officer Tok will understand. We will see. Let us go. And they disappear up the stairs. And you can hear them entering the room, which you assume is the bedroom, the lit room upstairs. You hear the footsteps there.
Guys, we are fucked.
George stealthily follows them up the stairs.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
What are you doing?
You see the policewoman lying there on the stairs, completely bloodied and unmoving. Her whole face is just broken. This is difficulty 3. So I'm using 3 pain dice.
He'll have his gun out and just quick check for a pulse.
No pulse. Her skull is bashed in. Her gun is lying on the stairs. Are you using any extra exhaustion or madness dice for your roll? You have to decide before you roll any dice.
Yeah, for my true senses, do I just trigger that? Do I have to tell you I'm using that, or
yes, that is your madness ability, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you have to tell me that you trigger.
Okay. Then I'm going to use 3 madness dice for the true senses.
Excellent. Yes.
Is that added on to the roll I'm already making, or is
Yes.
that just separate?
That is added to the roll you're already making.
All right.
So that is your discipline, I believe. That's 2 successes. You have 1 exhaustion. That's another success. That's 3 successes. And 3 madness dice. And that is 2 more successes. And looks like discipline is dominating just barely. Unless I roll a 6 with my pain. No, I don't. I'd roll 3 successes, however. But you have more. 5 successes, yes. So discipline dominates. You're fine. As you are sneaking up the stairs, your senses expand. And it's like everything around you becomes sharper and more real. With 3 madness dice, you can hear the breathing of the 2 underneath you, of Dylan and Adam, both like gently breathing down the stairs. You can hear the trickling of blood down the dead woman's face. You can hear outside, even through the rain, you can hear gentle muffling sounds as the 2 policemen talk, as they seem to not have heard the shots. Must have been muffled by the rain. They have a little bit of music on you can hear the radio. You can also hear the house being mostly quiet, except for the window shutters slightly moving in the wind and the rain hitting the roof above you. And you can hear movements in the room in front of you. And you realize they are these 2 people, these 2 weird bobbies are, you're pretty sure they're picking up a body from the ground, judging by the sounds. You hear one of them putting away his baton and picking up a body. You hear a soft sound as if the body is being pulled out of dried blood. And you hear a very soft, like a mechanical sort of, like one of those old clocks when you listen to them closely. You hear the little wheels turning. That's sort of what it sounds like. From 2 sources in the room in front of you. You also hear somewhere very far away, a what sounds like a church bell, a loud, a heavy bell, ding, ding, ding. Weirdly enough, it seems to be coming from inside the house, but at the same time, it's very soft. And you sneak up to basically the doorway that leads into this bedroom undetected, still just hesitating to remain out of the light that's falling from the bedroom into the onto the gallery on top where you're standing now. What are the other two doing, Dylan and Adam?
Freaking out first and foremost.
Gonna say the same thing.
Yeah, you can both see the fingers of one hand of the dead woman just sticking out through the side of the stairs, hanging over a little.
I can't see him. I'm not looking.
Okay.
Where do they come from? Did they is there a back door? Does it look like they came in through a back door?
Possibly. You heard a door opening and closing, a heavy door from the sound of it.
Yeah, but are there muddy tracks that they would have left?
No. No. No rain, no wetness, no muddy tracks on the carpet.
Do we know sort of where they came from?
Yeah, you know that they came from a corridor to your right.
Mm-hmm.
Looking down the corridor, you can't see much because the corridor is dark. You can just see the first couple yards, and then everything goes dark. That's where the back part of the house is, basically.
Okay.
Anyway, moving over to George again. What do you want to do?
George will just sort of peek into the room.
Okay. It is nearly as if you can look around the corner. It's a very weird sensation. Your senses are extremely sharp at the moment, and you see a crime scene, basically. A couple of those little symbols on the ground indicating a crime scene. You see a bed that is covered with a little bit of blood and weirdly enough, water, large patches of water. And you get the feeling that this water was once frost or ice that has melted. You see a large camera lying on the ground, probably left behind by the CSI agent. You see one of those bobbies bending over, picking it up, holding it for a moment, and then putting it on a nightstand, and then using its baton to smash it a couple times. And then it just takes it and puts it to the side, gingerly. The other one is, in the meantime, holding a sort of blondish, red-haired woman in her maybe early 30s or so, who is extremely pale and is only wearing a very thin nightgown. The woman is clearly dead and unmoving. You cannot hear any of her breath. Weirdly enough, you do not hear the two people in the room breathing either, the two bobbies. The only thing you hear is this with every single of their movements, is this little mechanical sound that seems to be coming from somewhere within them. And now you can also see those keys slowly turning in their backs as they are moving. Both of them have, by the way, a very, very vacant expression on their faces. But their lips are pulled back into a wide grin, like this.
Freaky.
One of them, the one who smashed the camera, says, "I think we have everything here. Let us go. I will be taking the woman. Excellent. Officer Tok will be content." Then one of them going ahead, the other one carrying the woman, they slowly start coming towards you.
George is going to back away as far as he can into shadow.
Okay. So you're backing away down the corridor, basically.
Yeah.
Himself against the wall. They're coming out and slowly going down the stairs. First the one guy who's again twirling his baton in his hand, and then the other one that's slowly following him down. Give me one last stealth check as they're moving past you quite closely. Will be a difficulty 3. And 1 exhaustion, I believe.
Oh, that's not good.
That's 1 success. I also have 1 success, and which means that you win. However, I rolled a 6, which means that pain dominates, and that means a coin of despair is placed in my black bowl.
Oh no, you've given him power.
Yes. So the 2 weird bobbies do not see you. However, you feel a cold shiver running down your back as if something bad had just happened. And they both walk down the stairs. You can see them coming, by the way. You're still hiding I'm assuming you're still hiding in the entrance to the dining room?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to start walking to the back of the house, but then I hear them coming, and nope.
Okay. You sneak back into the dining room. They walk past you. You see one of them carrying the dead woman, her hair sort of hanging over, down nearly down to the ground. And they walk to the back of the room, of the house, down the corridor, and you hear what sounds like a heavy door opening, then a few footsteps, and then the heavy door closing again.
So
And then silence.
I'm just gonna walk down to the back of the house and see if I can find the door they went through.
Okay, so you're following them. What are George and Dylan doing?
George is coming down the stairs and following the wind-up man.
Okay. Dylan?
Dylan is also following Adam.
Okay. As you are following down the corridor, you hear all of a sudden a sound behind you. A phone ringing.
Do we see where it's coming from?
Looking over, you see the dead CSI woman's phone slowly falling down the stairs with every vibration.
I very quickly go to just pick it up so it stops making a sound.
Okay, you pick it up. You see on the screen it says SGT Robinson. It still vibrates in your hand. And then it stops.
I look at the others and just sort of.
Click end and let's go.
I put the phone in my pocket.
Okay. You follow down the corridor and you come to a bathroom. Doors open. And then opposite the bathroom, you see a large white wooden door that looks completely out of place. It's like an old door, nearly an antique door, like you would expect in like a British manor or something like that. It's like a very finely made of white wood. It's a good 1.5 times the size of the other doors that you have seen in the house. A heavy door.
I think that's our door.
This is so fucking weird.
I don't think I understand what's going on, but if it's our door, set the phone in my pocket.
Why do you have the phone?
Take the phone out, put it on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the thing that police officers do, right?
Leave the phone.
It might be important.
Leave the phone.
No. I put it back in my pocket. It's on Do Not Disturb.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go open the door a little bit.
Looking at the phone, you saw the desktop saver, the screensaver, so to speak, is a photo of the woman that you've seen smiling and holding a golden retriever, sort of hugging him with both hands, smiling up into the camera. The dog's tongue is lolling out, and she's just looking at with big eyes up.
I'm gonna go save that dog once we're done here.
Okay, so you're standing in front of the door.
Yeah, I wanna open it just like a little bit.
Okay, you push the door open.
Peek.
And you peek through. There's a little bit of light, and it seems to be a staircase leading up behind that door. It looks weird, though. It looks like an old staircase, not something you would expect in a fairly modern-looking house, like a stone staircase, basically.
I don't see the policeman.
No. However, you hear very faintly the sound of a bell. Ding, 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 just coming down the stairs.
So I'll open the door the rest of the way and just say, "This is so weird, you guys."
Yeah, you pull it open, look up the stairs. It freaks you out a little as you realize that this door, this staircase, is leading outside the house, like where the stairs are. That's outside the house, because this is an outer wall.
So maybe Melvin wasn't crazy.
Either that, or we've all gone insane.
With that realization, you can all give me a check against pain 3.
Oh dear.
As you feel your head starting to hurt with all the weird stuff that's been happening.
Just for good measure, I'm gonna roll a single madness die here.
Certainly, go for it. Oh shit!
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. Wow, and discipline dominates. Wow, your discipline.
Unless pain does.
Your list discipline is super strong. However, your 4 is your highest roll, so pain can very well dominate. Yes.
Oh.
And we have 1 success for Mr. George with discipline dominating. For now, let's see. I'm rolling for Adam, and ooh, you're lucky. Your discipline does dominate, and I have 2 successes, so you're fine. You shake your head and shake it off. George, I have 1 success, but for you, pain dominates.
No.
Which means I get another nice little black coin. And we have Dylan with 3 successes. Discipline dominates, but only with a 4. Oh, I have 1 madness die. Are you taking?
Yeah.
Okay. That's 4 successes. And I have 3 successes, and discipline dominates despite everything, even for you as well. So you're still okay. The only one who seems a little shaken is George, but not too bad. It's just like something weird's happening, but you realize you have to just push through. You can't stop to think too much, basically. Slight headache in the back of your head starts forming, but you just close your eyes, shake your head a couple of times, and picture your daughter's face.
All right, let's go. He said this was our house. Start walking up the stairs.
And you walk
Quietly.
up. You walk up the stairs, and the stairs lead you to a back alley. To a back alley in between two large buildings. And the air smells different here. There's no rain for once. It is dark, it is night. Wherever you are all of a sudden, but the air smells different. It's a little soggy and there's a little bit of smoke in the air, but at the same time, it weirdly smells clean.
Do I get cell phone reception here?
Looking down at your cell phone? Nope.
Just gonna put that in my pocket.
0 bars.
All right. We're not in Kansas. So what do we do now?
Can we walk further out?
Yes, you can. There is a light coming from your right, and there seems to be a larger street where the back alley is exiting. That street is lit. The back alley where you are at the moment is fairly dark.
Okay. I start to quietly walk that way.
Okay. The rest of you following?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You step out into a main street and you stop and you stare around and you see buildings. This is it looks like a major city with many buildings, different sizes, some smaller, some taller, all jumbled up together, building to building to building to building to building. You don't see any open space or anything as you look down the road. You see there is a mixture of electric light and actually lantern light, like gas lanterns standing on the side of the road. And you see there's a few people out and about. And the people are weird. They are dressed in a very different style. Some of them look normal to you. Some of them look like they came out of a 1920s LARP or something, dressed in like very fine looking, a little washed out, but still very fine looking, like old style suits. And you see several men wearing top hats. One walks past, an older gentleman walks past with like a walking stick. And the houses as well look like they are like from different epochs. You have some ultra modern buildings and some look like they've been here for over 100 years. Still very well preserved in most places. You just stand there and look around. People are not paying you much attention, except for the older gentleman with the walking stick that walks past, who just tips his top hat towards Dylan as he walks past, and then continues walking.
Oh boy.
Anyone want to put money? We'll find what we're looking for here.
Sure. I hope so.
All right, so we're here, but man, this is a big place. How are we supposed to search this?
Maybe we could ask someone?
That makes sense. Are we sure they won't hit us and kill us like they did CSI?
I don't know.
Is there like a trash can around?
Nope.
Okay, I go back into the alleyway and throw up.
Okay. Going back into the alleyway, you realize the door's gone.
I panic and throw up again.
You just hear vomiting sounds coming from the darkness of the back alley.
There's no more door, guys.
Uh-oh. That's not too good. I'm sure we'll find another one. Can I use my exhaustion talent to read like some of the people who are walking around?
Certainly, yes. That will be 3 pain against that. As this is a fairly unfamiliar, actually 4 pain, because this is a very unfamiliar situation for you. You're struggling to take everything in. That's a fairly difficult tactic. What are you throwing against that?
For that, I would throw my exhaustion and discipline, or no?
Yes, discipline and exhaustion, that's what happens automatically. But do you want to up anything? Do you want to roll madness dice, or do you want to up your exhaustion? Gain more dice?
I'm gonna up my exhaustion.
Okay, you take 1 level of exhaustion and you roll 1 die more.
How many madness was it against? No, how many pain was it against?
4 pain. So if you have 4 dice, you basically have a 50-50 chance to succeed. For every die above 4, your chances are getting better, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I'll also add a madness dice.
Okay, so 1 madness, 2 pain. 1 madness, 2 exhaustion, and 3 discipline, right? Excellent. Go for it. And it's 3 successes with the discipline. Very nice, but very low rolls as well. And exhaustion. That's 1 more success. That's 4 successes. That is 5 successes. And you just barely beat me because I have 4 successes. However, exhaustion is dominating, which means you take another exhaustion, which means your exhaustion goes up to 3, I believe.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
You took 1 level by yourself, and yeah, because exhaustion is dominant, you go up to 3, which, however, also means that your reading people talent now gives you at least 3 successes automatically every time you use it. Okay. But that's pretty strong. And you also have a success with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes, which is extremely good. That's supernaturally good. As I said, 4 is pretty much the highest that a character, a human can get. You get a very good feeling for the people. There's something weird about them. Firstly, they do act like they are coming from different worlds. It's not just the clothing, it's everything about the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they look around. You get the feeling that these are people that come from very different places. You also realize that something about them is very weird. They don't feel real to you. Like, you can see that old gentleman. He walks down the street and stops, turns around, and then walks back up again. And as he walks past you, he tips his head in the exact same motion that he did just a minute ago to you, and then walks past. And as you're looking at the others, you notice a few patterns that are sort of repeating themselves with several of the people around you. Something is weird. They feel, as I said, unreal, shallow to you. Yeah. That's what you read.
Okay, I turn back to the others and then I say, okay, never mind. I don't think we actually get anything out of asking them. They don't really feel like actual people.
That makes sense at this point.
The only one that felt real to you was a street vendor, a tall guy standing behind a small cart that was holding different trinkets. You're not quite sure what's on there. You couldn't really see the guy very well because he was sort of covered in the shadow of his little parapet that is above his little cart. But he's the only one who seemed real to you. However, you also felt a certain level of danger about him. Something's not right with him either. He's real, but he's also, you feel that he might be dangerous.
Also, there's a dangerous vendor over there.
Yeah, he's like maybe 100 yards down the road. You can just see him in the distance, standing there.
Don't go to him.
Okay. What? Are
If
you
we can
sure?
talk to the one real person, who should we talk to? Or should we just wander around blindly?
Mm. Do you think they have any maps around here?
Maybe the vendor has them.
But the vendor's not very safe. I mean, we can try. You can try if you want. Oh, I don't want you getting hurt. Um,
That's good. Neither do I.
mm,
But lack of options sort of forces us. Or we could try and find another door, but who knows how long that'll take.
Finding another door takes us out of here, probably, right? So why would we do that? We're here to look for people.
yeah.
Screw it. I start walking towards the vendor.
Okay.
I follow very quickly.
Okay.
I'm going to follow, and can I roll my true senses to see if I can get a better look at this guy?
Certainly, yes. How many madness would you like to roll? The more you roll, the stronger it becomes. Basically, like 3 is already very strong. Above 3 already means you're pushing into the supernatural senses, basically.
Just 3.
Okay. I will be rolling 3 pain against that.
There's my discipline.
Okay. That is 1 success, 1 success with the exhaustion, and 3 madness. That can't be right. You rolled a 10 on a d6.
Yeah, the exclamation points mean that you've got
Oh,
exploding,
it's exploding
dice.
dice. That's right.
Oh.
So that was a 6. That 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3 successes for you. However, 3 successes, and I have 2 successes, so you succeed. Pain is dominant, however. Sorry, not pain.
Madness.
Madness is dominant, which means that you have to check one of your unchecked boxes, fight or flight. If you take a look at this guy, you realize this is no human. There's something about the shadow clinging to his form that is decidedly unnatural. His eyes glittering white in the darkness. You cannot see his face at all. It's just like a shadow is hanging above his head, and you can just see 2 empty white eyes glittering in that shadow. Now you can choose what to do. A fight reaction or a flight, assuming you don't have like 3 fight or 3 flight, but I don't think you have. So choose a fight or flight reaction, please, and tick one of the boxes.
Fight.
Okay, so you get super aggressive. Fight doesn't necessarily mean physical combat, but it means like something super aggressive, basically. So I'll let you play out however you want. You feel this rage rising up within you.
George, for the most part, isn't a very emotionally expressive person. He tries to stay calm and collected, but when he looks at this guy, he just doesn't know what possesses him to do so. He just puts his hand at his hip where his gun is. He put his gun and just has his hand on his holster, just ready to go at a moment's notice, as if he fully expects this to burst out into violence.
Yeah, that's
drop of the hat.
Great, not quite strong enough for a fight response. You have to push it a bit more. You need to be more aggressive. This is an extreme response, basically. As an answer to the fear that this creature evokes in you, aggression breaks out of you, basically. You see the 2 of your companions see your face going red. You started well, but just continue the description, basically.
George just pulls out his gun and is just like cocks it and just pretty much walks up and points it at him. Like,
Okay, you see your hand is shaking with rage and like snarling at the guy, and you see the creature bending backwards a little and giving you the eyes are just white and empty. And it stares at you and it says, my, what do I owe the pleasure?
Hey man, what are you doing? Why the gun?
The being raises both arms. There is no need for violence. I am but a humble street vendor. Please, how can I help you? Are you here to buy or to sell?
Directions.
The two of you who are not consumed by rage, by the way, can see that his little cart holds a couple what looks like broken children's toys and a few weird objects. One is what looks to be a lady's glove. One is a ring. One is a piece of a scarf. And one is a short spade.
What's all this?
My merchandise, young friend. You hear a sound as if the creature is drawing in air through nostrils, as if it's sniffing at you and says, "Oh, welcome. Welcome to the Mad City. Your first visit here." The white eyes glitter in the shadow.
Step a
412
little bit
Leviathan.
behind George.
Where is it?
What?
What?
412 Leviathan Street. Where is it?
Leviathan Street. I have heard of that name, yes. Now, so you are here to buy. I am
If
assuming
you have a map, that would be useful.
there are no maps of the Mad City. But I am assuming you don't have any wax either, because you are new here, yes?
Any wax?
Yes. He reaches out a hand, and you see a single coin glittering in his hand. It looks like a gold coin, but it's enveloped in what looks to be a layer of yellowish wax. This I accept. If you do not have any coin, puts it back into his pocket, then I might accept something else. He leans forward. You can still can't see his face, even though it's coming closer to you. It's like the shadow is following his head. You can see he's wearing a fairly fancy silverish black suit, but everything above sort of mid of his chest is covered in darkness.
I take out the phone from my pocket and say, "What about a nice phone?"
Oh, I am afraid that belongs not to you, my dear. You cannot negotiate with something that does not come from you.
Okay. How do you know that?
Good.
What do you mean? Of course I know it. It has the smell of someone else. A woman. I believe there are some interesting things that she could give me, but alas, she is not here. So what would you offer in exchange for this information?
Do you guys have anything?
Oh, you all
I have my own phone.
You have things. You all have things to offer. I sell many things. Dreams, memories, hungers, desire, colors, breath, beauty, laughter, music. All those things are of great value. And I buy them as well.
How about you give me the information and I don't put a bullet in you?
Now, okay, that's not That's bad.
The eyes glitter with a dangerous glitter this time, and she says, "You come here and make threats. It might be your way. You have a little experience with the feelings of the lads. I advise you to retract that threat. No, I would buy your anger if you so wish."
Okay, you mentioned music. What about art? I could draw you a picture. It's a really good picture.
You have the inclinations of an artist, do you?
Yeah.
Give me a roll to see if you can persuade this creature to accept it. I will roll 4 pain dice against that, because this is not an easily persuaded, bartered with creature.
Uh,
So you have
2 madness dice.
3 discipline. How many exhaustion at the moment? 1, 2?
2. And I'm adding 2 madness
2
dice.
madness. Excellent. So that's 7 dice. Let's see what's going on.
1, 2. 2 successes.
Okay, that's not much. And I have 3 successes.
Fuck.
And pain carries as well.
Fuck.
Pain dominates. So the creature looks at you and you fail, which means you take either 1 level of exhaustion or you have to tick one of your boxes. Which do you prefer?
I think we've got enough crisis going on. I'll just add some exhaustion.
Okay, fair enough. That's a 3rd level then. And the creature leads forward and says, "I am afraid you have nothing on you to draw with. I refuse your offer, but am willing to renegotiate." And the creature it's nearly as it seems slowly to be growing, as if it grew a good half a foot or so while it started talking to you. Its eyes glittering. It now looks over at George and Dylan. "Now, do you have anything you offer?"
I can offer you a nice critical piece on a movie I have seen.
"I am afraid there is little soul in criticism. Thus it is little worth to me."
What is worth something to you?
"Let me take a look at you." He reaches out his hand. You see a black leather glove. And your hand, mademoiselle.
Or what?
Your hand. Let me touch it. I can see better than. He grabs your hand. The fingers are warm, but it's a very uncomfortable type of warm, as if you're touching like a slithery snake with your hand. It clutches you, and the eyes go wide, and you hear a and then the hand goes back and says, "Ah, yes. Pain is worth something. You carry much pain in you. The school, the children. Let me take them. Learn. Let me take your pain."
What exactly would happen if you did that?
And a simple exchange. Your memories of this terrible time against the information that you need. Your angry friend here desires it strongly. And I don't think he's the only one. So, demoiselle, is that an acceptable offer?
Yes.
Good. Your hand. Takes it, and he draws in air. And you feel a little shake going through his hand. He releases your hand. He takes out a bottle, puts it up, and puts a cork on, and puts the bottle into his little cart. And you can see the bottle is now filled with its bluish smoke, and there's faces appearing in the smoke, faces of children. But you, Dylan, you've never seen those children. You're not quite sure who they are. They don't look familiar to you.
Okay.
Now, that was a satisfactory business arrangement. I thank you, demoiselle. Your information. You're looking for Leviathan Road. Leviathan Road is in a district owned by Father Never and his Iceman. You will find it by following this road. He points down one of the side streets. It is a long journey. You will have to pass close to District 13. And you will have to pass past the buildings of the Paper Boy. But once you have reached Leviathan Road, you will easily recognize it, for snow falls there all year round. And even for the Mad City, the place lacks color. Now, is that information satisfactory to you, or do you wish to bargain for something more?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Good. He looks over to the side. Well, it is time for me to leave anyway. And he grabs his cart and starts slowly pushing it away down the road. A pleasure doing business with you, demoiselle. You just hear the voice as he walks past.
Okay, let's go.
And Miss Dillon, you gain 1 permanent madness from this little exchange. You feel like something's not right. There's something missing within a hollow place. And you feel weird, incomplete. It freaks you out.
Great.
Oh, some freaky shit.
Yes.
Let's walk. Let's not think about it.
Let's go.
Okay. Start pushing your way through the street. Well, not really pushing. There's hardly any people around. But a few dozen here and there. See, a lot of the houses are dark. Sometimes there's flickering light that seems like candlelight inside. Sometimes there's the bright light of electric power. But a lot of the houses are dark. And again, you notice that they're jumbled together. It's houses from different epochs. So houses from the early 1900s, houses that look fairly modern, mostly in glass. And you continue walking down the street. You walk for a good 15, 20 minutes without the scenery really changing. And then you see ahead of you what looks to be a small bazaar. 5 or 6 of those little huts, like you would associate with merchants, basically, on a small square. And you can see different people sitting there, and you see some of the what you would associate as the locals, those weird, incomplete, unreal feeling people, or at least they feel unreal to Dylan, standing there and bartering, and you hear a few voices.
We still know which way. Like it's not like
the road crosses, the road that you're following crosses the square, and
so it's
just
just still fairly straight.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we just want to pass this right by, or? No more. The guy mentioned District 13 and Paper Boys, and that means it's probably bad because everything is bad.
After our last go-around, I don't think we should stop anytime soon.
Okay with that.
Okay. As you walk through the bazaar, you see several vendors start to shout out, "Yes, gentlemen, please, lady, come, come. I sell your keenest dreams or other people's. Are you looking for a smile, young sir? Are you looking for some laughter?" And another guy, a fat man from the side, calls out, "Ah, you, sir, you carry a weapon with you? I have things that will make you feel much safer." Another calls out, "Young lady, a beautiful singing voice only for you. In exchange, just a few drops of your tears." Another says, "Your reflection, sir, you cannot be safe with your reflection. You need a new one. Come, come, I will offer you one at a discount." And you feel this just like these voices calling out, and there's a weird draw to them, as if something within you wants to stop and investigate all these little weird objects that they're selling, these broken toys and little mementos and other things that you're not even sure what they are. What do you wish to do?
Walking. Straight ahead, not even turning my head.
You want to walk past?
Not dealing with this shit.
That is a pain 4 check.
Oh, good.
As you feel something within you trying to hold you here, or something from without trying to hold you here. You're not quite sure. So who goes first? And who wants to? Let's start with Nick and Adam.
I will, again, just roll 2 madness dice, because why not?
Go ahead. And you have how much exhaustion at the moment? 3?
Oh, good, good. Well, that's 3 successes.
Nice. That's 3 successes, and madness carries. I like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And actually, I will use one of my darkness coins,
Oh.
which turns into a light coin, as I have used it. And I will use it to cast a shadow on your roll, as it is called, which means that I can add a 6 to a specific roll, and I will add that roll to your exhaustion.
Oh.
So I'm adding a 6 to your exhaustion.
That's good.
Still leaves you with 3 successes. And I have 2 successes, so you manage to push through, but it costs you. You feel exhausted after this, and you take another level of exhaustion, which raises your exhaustion to 4. Okay. You just stand there at the end of the bazaar, just shaking your head and catching a little bit of breath. Okay, next up, George.
I am going to throw in a couple of madness dice as well.
Okay. How many? And how
Let's
much
go
exhaustion do you have at the moment?
I have... How much exhaustion or how much madness?
How much exhaustion do you have at the moment? You don't have
Just
any.
one.
Okay, just 1 exhaustion. So you roll 3 discipline, 1 exhaustion, and however many madness you like. How many would you like?
I'm just going to go 3.
Okay. Ooh, nice. 3. Okay. So that is a 1 success with the discipline. Another success with the exhaustion. That's 2. And the 3 madness. And that is 2 more successes. That is 4.
Oh.
And because I'm funny, I'll spend another one of my darkness dice.
Are you sure it's funny?
Yeah, to me it is. To add a 6 to your madness.
Oh.
And I have 3 successes. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you push through as well. However, all the strain of this means you have to check another one of your boxes.
Oh, joy.
What do you wish to do? Fight or flight?
Flight.
Okay, you just like, no, 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 and start running down the street, just holding your ears closed, basically, so you don't hear these siren-like calls, and just run past Adam, who's just standing there, breathing heavily. You just hear, you see George running past, both hands on his ears, running down the road, just screaming.
I don't go running off.
Dylan, now, by the way, you have 2 light coins now, which you can use to cast, to shed light on a roll, which means that you can either remove an exhaustion or a tick during a break that you're taking, or you can add a 1 to your discipline pool after you have rolled. So that's a group resource. However, after you spend it, it's gone. So it doesn't turn back into darkness or anything. It's just gone, that coin.
Okay.
So, Dylan, go ahead. How much madness are you rolling? And what's your exhaustion? Is it 3 at the moment?
Yeah, 3.
Okay. And how much madness do you wish to roll? If you want to roll any.
How much pain was it?
4.
Gonna add 1 madness.
Go for it. So that is 3 discipline, 3 exhaustion, and 1 madness. That is 1 success with a discipline, and a 6, which is important. As oh, interesting. Another success. And did you say 1 madness?
Yeah.
That is just 2 successes so far. And 3 successes. And exhaustion seems to dominate. Let's see what I get. I get 3 successes as well. However, you beat me because it's a tie. And exhaustion dominates, so you take another level of exhaustion. You as well. You manage to push through, but you're standing next to Adam, and you're both just like trying to catch a breath, like massaging your temples as the pain is slowly radiating through your head from all this. And you're starting to get tired. But there's something within you that says that closing your eyes and going for a nap would be a very bad idea. And you also see George just running away in the distance, screaming and just, no, 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 no.
Shit. I jog after
Go
him.
after him.
Okay, you, exhausted as you are, you run up to him and you catch George after about 200 or 300 yards. He just fell into a heap and just sitting there shaking his head, still saying, no, 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 no. Yeah, just sitting in a, like the entrance to the side alley, a few tears running down his face.
Good idea, George. Let's catch our breath.
I put a hand on his shoulder and try to comfort him a little bit.
So how's George doing after this?
Not very well. Is it? He's pretty much just sitting there, just bawling his eyes out because now he might actually be going insane, and his daughter's missing, and everything in his life is just falling to shit, and that's sort of just punched him in the gut right there.
Excellent.
Okay, look. This place sucks. And it's messing with all of us. We've got a lead. We know where we're going. So everyone just take deep breaths. Let's go.
I'm sure everything will be okay.
You know, I'm not. I gave it a try, but now I'm not. But I'm gonna keep moving anyway.
You! What are you doing here? You look up and you see two bobbies coming your way.
Oh.
Moving unisono. Marching.
One of them wouldn't happen to have any like gunshot wounds, would he?
Sorry?
There wouldn't have to be some gunshot wounds in one of them, right?
No, they look slightly different than the others, but they are of the same kind, definitely.
Okay.
Same way they're moving, and they look nearly exactly the same. They just have these grins, and their eyes are glittering slightly angrily as they pointing their batons at you. You, stand up! What are you doing there?
We're just catching our breath, officers.
You are breaking at least 2 laws. Where are
Also,
you? Who are you?
What laws are we breaking?
You're loitering at the street corner, and you are failing to provide identification. The other one says, indeed. I could probably think of another law or two, but those 2 are enough for now. Can you provide identification, citizens?
Fuck.
What type of identification would you like?
What kind of question is that? The legal kind, of course.
I pull out my driver's license.
Takes a look and says, is this disrespect before the law?
No.
I pull out the picture of the woman and the dog.
On the phone.
Yes.
Looks a little weird. We will add a 3rd crime, as you are clearly disrespecting officers of the law in their duties. You are charged with 3 criminal offenses against the city and District 13.
Oh.
You will be coming with us. Get up, you.
Can I use my madness talent?
You can, certainly. I love this game. This is a difficulty of, let's see, the Clockwork Lieutenants have a pain rating. Okay, so this is 4 because there's 2 of them. That's it's 4 pain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're rolling. What's your current exhaustion, by the way?
4.
Okay, so you're rolling 3 discipline dice, 4 exhaustion dice, and however many madness dice you would like, depending on how strong you want your ability to be. It can be anything between 1 and 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What do you want to achieve?
Can I make them think that we're like the same type of thing as them?
Interesting. That will be, I'd say, 4 madness.
Okie dokie.
It's pretty not easy to pull off. So what do? You pull out your notebook, and a pen, and start scribbling like crazy.
Yeah.
They look at you. What are you doing? Provide identification immediately, or you will be taken into custody.
This is my identification. Hold on a second. I need to roll dice.
Okay, go for it. So the 3 discipline for now. Don't forget, you have 2 hope coins at the moment. If you want to use any of them. That is no success with the discipline.
Jesus, fuck.
So you have 4 exhaustion, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. That is 2 successes with the exhaustion. And we said 4 madness, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Another 2
good.
successes. However, madness dominates. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4 successes total.
How is it? I used the light point. Light point.
You can add a 1 to your discipline if you wish. A die that automatically rolls a 1 to your discipline. So you would get 1 more success. It wouldn't help you in dominating though.
No.
But you already have 4 successes. The highest I can roll is 4, so you still win basically. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I have a 6 as well, but my second one is a 3, which means that madness dominates, not pain. So you succeed. However, you have to use fight or flight, a reaction to this psychological strain of using your madness talent. What do you choose?
Okay.
Oh, actually, you don't have flight, right?
Mm-mm.
So you're choosing fight because you don't have any flight reactions. You just like furiously scribbling away, and then anger bubbles up within you. What do you do? That these creatures are with their bureaucracy and their arrogance, they're holding you. They want to stop you from achieving your goal, stop you from saving a friend. What do you do?
I take one of their batons out of their hand
Okay.
and I start beating them.
Okay, you grab a baton and you just like, you see as this not very large woman all of a sudden just shouts out, rushes one of them, grabs the baton, smacks him in the face, and smacks him a couple more times as he's down. And the other one looks around and you, one of our own, attacking us, that cannot be. And she just looks up, leaps at him, tackles him against the wall, and starts beating him as well. Just all the pent-up aggression. And you see where you hit is their faces. There's no blood. Instead, bits and pieces of metal are flying out, and little clockwork mechanisms are breaking out of their faces. And they
What are you doing?
They stop moving, and you just hear their little keys in their back. Stop turning.
You're welcome.
And she's just standing there.
we should go.
Yeah, let's get going. I told you, everything's gonna be fine.
We're so fucked.
George just when Dylan says everything's gonna be fine, he just takes a step to the side, just like arm's length away from him.
Okay. You start continuing down the road. And as you are walking away, you hear behind you the sound of shrill whistling.
Running now.
Like, I can't whistle that shrilly, sadly, but like really loud police whistle type. Just like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times behind you. It doesn't seem to be coming closer though. It's more of an alarm signal from the looks of it. And you see buildings are opening and people are sticking their heads out and then retreating back into the houses, closing the doors. And you see out of a side alley comes a group of 6 bobbies. 6 of these clockwork creatures, all looking nearly exactly the same, all with their batons out, just running the very same movement. They look super weird. All 6 of them just running the completely same way. It's every step completely synchronized, and they run past you, running down the road towards where the whistling is coming from.
Oh, the whistling is coming from ahead of us.
No, from behind you.
Oh, so they're... Okay, well, so they just ran past us then.
Yes.
It's still running.
Okay, you just push yourself against the wall and then continue going.
Yep.
You leave the whistling far behind. And slowly the area around you starts to change as you see black smoke now hanging low above your heads, covering the top rooftops You see there's soot on the walls here, on multiple buildings. And you see up ahead what looks to be like a factory. You hear the sound of machines from inside. Some old type of machinery. And the smoke, the factory has 3 massive chimneys that are spewing out this black smoke. The streets are mostly deserted, except for a duo of what looks to be little boys or something standing in an alleyway. You can't really see them very well because they're in shadow. They're small, boy-sized, basically.
Oh, I'm going straight there.
Okay.
And hey.
They turn, they step into the light, and you stop. They're definitely boy-shaped, but they look like someone scrounged up a bunch of old newspapers and glued them together in a humanoid form. They have small caps on their heads, also made of newspaper, and they're carrying under their arms a bunch of rolled up newspaper.
Sorry about that. I thought you were someone else.
One of them says, "Mister, do you want to buy a paper? New evening edition?"
I don't have any money.
Well, then maybe you'd like to hear a story about yourself see a story about yourself in the paper, mister. The other one says, "Yeah, you didn't even have to pay for that. Us people boys will do it for free. Tell us. What are you doing here? You seem new. We haven't seen you around."
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm just passing through.
The other one looks over your shoulder, sees the other two, says, "Ah, you are not alone, mister. Excellent, that's great. Sounds like a new story in the making to me." The other one nods.
No.
"Yes, we should go tell the others."
Yeah, there's a much more interesting story back that way.
Oh? They look up to you.
Yeah, some police officers got attacked.
Clockwork
So-
lieutenant's attacked. Lieutenant
Yep.
Officer Tok will not like that. That's a story in the making for sure. Give me a check to see if you can get them distracted with this. However, you chose a good subject. Usually it would be really hard to get them off your trail, but I'll only give you 3 pain for this.
Oh, cool. I won't roll any madness then, just because.
Okay?
I'll roll 1 madness.
Sure. What's the worst that can happen?
Make things fun.
Okay.
It's 3.
That is 3 successes against 2 successes.
Oh no, exhaustion dominates.
But exhaustion carries the day, yeah. Exhaustion dominates. You gain 1 more exhaustion from this.
Guys, we need to take a breather soon.
You have 5 exhaustion now. Woo! Your eyelids are getting heavy. Your gaze is getting drawn to the floor, and you're like, shake it off. But the 2 paper boys look up to you and say, "Thanks, mister." One of them
Don't mention it.
cap, and they run past you, and says, one of them says, "I'll get the others and get the printing presses going." And the other says, "I'll see what's going on in District 13, and runs down the street away from you.
Let's get going.
Can we find somewhere to take a break soon?
I agree.
All this running's making me tired.
Yeah, you can see now, Adam looks completely exhausted. Like every step that he takes, he's dragging his feet behind him. His head is hanging down and he's breathing heavily. And there's a headache just going all through your head, Adam. That's nothing in the world that you wish more than just sit down a bit, close your eyes for a moment, get some decent sleep. But you also get the feeling that sleeping in this here is not the best thing to do, probably.
Nothing in this place is the best thing to do.
That's true.
Is there like a sort of abandoned looking building anywhere nearby?
There's plenty. There's plenty.
Guys, can we go take a breather?
Sure. I
Sure.
agree with doing that.
Okay. So you open a door and you look inside an old building that looks like it's been pre-war era, basically. Dusty and soot-stained, but from the looks of it, empty.
Just go have a seat, and assuming this is gonna be an uninterrupted rest, I'm gonna want to spend a coin to drop some
Okay.
exhaustion.
Okay, you are spending one of the your hope coins to get rid of one of your exhaustion levels, bringing it down to 4. Anyone else wants to spend the second coin?
Is it the only thing you could spend it on?
You can do either 1 exhaustion or 1 tick. You can also, while rolling, add, as I said, a 1 to your discipline pool.
Yeah, but we've got some people dangerously close to some bad things, so.
But that's up to
We
you.
should save it.
Okay. Saving your light coin, your hope coin. Don't worry, I'll give you a second one soon.
Oh, good. Thank you so much, benevolent GM.
So maybe you can use that one up. But that's up to you, though.
Okay, for now. I'll be okay.
You can use a second one if you want to. I don't think there's anything in the rules against that.
I could.
Or maybe our friend who has used both a fight and a flight.
That is true. That's also not a bad idea. Maybe George can regain some of his sanity. What do you say, George?
Is everyone okay with that? Because
Yes.
Yeah, go
You
for it.
lost 2.
all right, I'll burn the second hope coin and
Excellent.
get rid of my flight tick.
Excellent.
I can lower exhaustion in other ways.
Yeah, well.
This is
GM isn't me.
Here's the
sorry, my inner sadism is coming out. I'm afraid it's showing a little. Yeah. Going back in after a short rest, so to speak. You didn't close your eyes really, but you took some deep breaths for like maybe 15, 20 minutes or so. And you feel better. And George, you as well. You have regained, what do you say? Did you regain a flight or a fight?
flight.
A flight. Okay, so you feel the sadness that has cloaked you, the panic is gone.
Also, I'm going to step away for like a minute.
Actually, we'll have maybe a 2 or 3 minute break so everyone can have a quick bathroom break and then go into the finale of the adventure as you're approaching Leviathan Road.
Right.
So I'll see you in a couple minutes.
All right.
All right. Well, waiting for, I believe, Alex and Clayton to return, and then we will be resuming this.
Yeah, just got back on my.
And resources are slowly running out. Exhaustion is closing in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like this whole exhaustion thing. It's really tense.
Yeah, it makes things tense for sure. Yeah, I didn't expect it to work this well, to be honest. But it's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. But you have made it so far. So that's something.
Yeah, but the last stretch, the last game I played with you, I ended up dead.
Well, to be fair, you did attack an archwizard and drew his attention. So maybe try to avoid that this time. But we will see what it goes on anyway. And only one of you has used their madness talent. So there's a lot of. Oh, actually, no. Sorry, no. The George.
I'm the only one who hasn't yet.
George has also used his madness talent actually, to not bad effect actually. Okay, now you are back out in the street and following the road, leaving behind Sustained district with a large whatever that is, manufactory, and are now feeling the temperature slowly dropping. And then as you look down the road, you see rooftops in the distance covered with snow. And there is snow falling on the road. And it looks super weird. It looks like all of a sudden, just like maybe 100 yards ahead of you, suddenly snow starts falling. Like there's snow, no snow on the road, and then all of a sudden from like a line drawn across the road, there is snow. It's not very deep snow, maybe ankle deep, but still. Like someone drew a white line across the road.
I think we're here.
I think this is where we need to be.
And we're still not wearing shoes.
That is true. You're not wearing shoes. So you approach and you see for the first time ever since you arrived in the city of water, except for the snow, of course, there are small ponds, very tiny, maybe 2 or 3 meters wide, next to the road, in front of some of the houses. And up ahead further, you see a larger building standing in the center of a square that's covered in snow. And as you look around, you realize the buildings here are weird. Even for the Mad City, there's something wrong with them. They're just all this uniform gray color. The only colors you see is gray and the white of the snow, the stark, strong, shimmering white, a very strong contrast. But there's only those 2 colors there, nothing else.
Well, that's a bit weird.
Do we see people, out and about, or is it like deserted? Or
most of it is deserted. You see maybe 3 or 4 people just with their hoods up, hurrying along. One guy carrying, of all things, what looks to be a basket full of vegetables. But other than that, the street is deserted.
Are there house numbers or anything that we can see on the?
Looking around, you do indeed see house numbers, and you realize these house numbers, they've always been there. You just haven't really been paying attention because there's so much stuff that was weird to you. Even looking back down the road, you see every house has numbers. Some of the numbers are weird. You're not even sure what they are. You see one that says 10 with then a slash, and then 3, 4, and then a dot, and then an A, and then another dot. And like a couple of it just like jumbled together, numbers and letters. And it doesn't really seem to be following any numbering system as such. It's not like there's like 12 next to 14 next to 16 or anything. The numbers are all over the place. And the plaques that are carrying the numbers are, some of them look very modern, are made of plastic. Others are like these ancient bronze letters just like hammered into the facade with nails. However, looking down the street, you see that large building in the center has the number 412 on it.
Should we just go there?
I mean, I guess.
Answers.
I didn't catch that.
Layton, please.
They said we'd find answers there.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go. Sure, it can't be that bad.
Your bare feet, well, your feet in socks are now slowly making their way through the snow. Heading,
Oh God, soggy socks.
yes, not the nicest feeling. But there's worse things in the world. At least they keep you awake. The cold keeps you awake. You see there is a front gate, and you see a single person standing in front of it. Person dressed in a nearly colorless gray coat with white skin and black eyes.
Is the gate like a part of a wall or something, or?
No, the person is standing in front of the door. The door
Oh,
is
in front of the door.
yes, in front of the main door. You, Adam, recognize this person. You have seen him in a diner not that long ago.
Guys, this guy's bad. He was at the diner. Let's just like walk around back instead. And act totally natural.
He follows you with his gaze, expressionless, black eyes, soulless eyes.
Don't look at him anymore.
Is
As you walk
he any
around.
that the others of us would remember?
He looks very similar to the two guys that you've seen at the diner, yes.
Mhm.
Snowman.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea to look at him. We should just...
You walk around the building.
Yeah.
On the other side of the building, there is a nearly identical door with a nearly identical man standing in front of it.
So the other sides, the two sides that don't have them though, they're like no doors.
They're just walls, yeah.
All right. So I may not have anything to draw with, but I figure like I could rub snow on something to make something
You can,
look
yeah.
like it. So could I possibly use my madness talent here
I certainly can.
to try and make a door in the wall?
Of course.
How many madness dice?
Making a door isn't too hard, so I will say that will be 2 madness dice. I'll be opposing you with 3 pain.
All right, I'm gonna roll 3 madness dice just so I have a better chance of exhaustion, not dominating.
Okay, excellent. Oh, now you're getting the hang of it.
Oh, good. That's exactly what I wanted to see. I succeed for sure.
Yes, but look at the exhaustion.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have 1 success and a 6. Ooh, no, exhaustion still dominates. 6-5.
Yeah.
Okay, you take 1 level of exhaustion. However, you guys, you see Adam stepping up to the wall and grabbing a little bit of snow and just rubbing it out and drawing like a oval shape basically on the wall. And then the wall all of a sudden shimmers and it looks like it's bending inwards and there's a weird sucking sound. And then all of a sudden there's a tunnel, a doorway where there was a wall.
Looney Tunes. Let's go.
Yeah, kind of Looney Tune-like, yeah.
That was cool.
And you see Adam just shaking his head for a moment and taking a stumbling step and catching himself again as he nearly falls.
I grab a handful of snow and put it in my face.
Just rubbing all over your face.
That was exhausting.
Well, we have our way in.
And I hope you're okay.
You step in, and you are.
Either way.
You step in, and you are in a corridor. The interior of this building is very cold. You start slightly shaking, but again, the cold is keeping you awake, so it's not the worst thing in the world. The walls are just this uniform gray. No cracks, no symbols, nothing, just gray. This color is really starting to drag you down. The corridor goes left and goes right, because you entered it from the center, basically. Which direction do you wish to go?
You always go left, right? That's how it works.
Can I use my madness talent?
Excellent choice. Go for it. How many dice would you like to roll?
Let's go with 4.
Nice. Okay. I will be opposing you with 4 pain dice. But you have a shit ton of dice. How much exhaustion do you have?
2. I only have 1 exhaustion.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that is 3 successes on the discipline already, and another one on the exhaustion.
Now, I just
And the
need
madness.
to not roll a 6.
I mean,
That's
it's
worse.
Actually, you only need a 5. 4. A 4 would have been enough. Let's just see. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. Holy shit. That is insane.
Pain.
Let's see. Pain has 4 successes. However, I can't beat you, obviously, which means that madness is dominant.
No.
And you know what that means? Fight or flight, my friend. However, so what you sense before you before you choose the reaction, your senses extend. You feel one creature to your left, another one to your right. Those are the 2 at the doors. You feel staircases leading up, and you feel batches of warmth, batches of color. It's like you can smell the color. It's like sunshine and fresh grass. You follow it with your senses, shooting through, up a staircase, up, and up, past one of those creatures that is patrolling up and down a corridor, up another stair. You sense a gate in the center of the building, and something old, something powerful, something cold. Beyond it, your senses shy back. But the light, the life, the color is up, not through this large gate. Another set of stairs, and then a room. And in that room, a vision. 3 beings, 3 living beings, 3 beings afraid, in pain, cold, shaking. Their hearts going boom, 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 boom. 3 heartbeats. You can sense them, you can hear them all the way through the building. But you can also sense the presence of 3 cold beings in this room. And they're doing something to the life. It's like they're leaching it out slowly, drawing it, the warmth into their cold. And you know where to go. Now, fight or flight.
We're going with fight.
I thought so.
Just
So, what does George O'Brien do?
having just felt these 3 lives surrounded by cold, knowing one of them even might just have the slimmest chance of being his daughter, and knowing that maybe they're doing something to hurt her, just anger just boils up. He pulls his gun and just takes off running, and he's gonna go kill these things. If he's pretty much gonna kill anything and everything in his way until he gets there.
All right, you just see George. You hear his teeth grit. Veins pop out on his neck. A red gaze settles on his eyes. He pulls out his gun and he just lets out a growl and sets off running down the corridor to your left.
Shit. I chase.
Okay, you both, I'm assuming Dylan, you want to chase as well?
I also follow.
You both run after him as he runs into a room, up a staircase, past another room, down a corridor, up a staircase, and you run into one of the cold snowmen just standing there looking at you. But George, you know that there's another staircase beyond that leading into the room where you need to be, you have to be, you must be. And this thing is just an obstacle to be wiped off. Okay, the snowman sees you coming, its black eyes staring into you, and it reaches out with a hand, and you feel cold seeping towards you. Now, this is the first combat we have, actually. There's no extra rules in combat, so basically the snowman has 4 terror, that's his strength in combat, and that will be opposing whatever you wish to do. So, what do you guys want to do in this? We'll start with George, because he's the protagonist for this scene, so to speak.
George is just
Now,
aims.
there's 2 ways you can do this. Either you can roll, each of you roll your full thing, and opposed by the 4 terror every time. The four pain dice every time. Or you can say, we are only supporting George. He's the main character for this fight, so to speak. Then that means that both of you, Dylan and Adam, you only roll your discipline and add whatever successes you have to George's discipline. You're not rolling any other dice, but that however, also means you cannot use any of your talents, and your discipline dice do not count towards domination. It's just sheer successes that you can add to him. That's up to you, but George is up first anyway. So what do you want to do, George?
George takes aim at the thing's head and fires.
Okay, just unloading into the thing. Are you using any madness for this?
No, but I am going to knock up a point of exhaustion.
Excellent. As the running has tired you down, but with a burst of adrenaline. So that's 2 exhaustion, I believe, and 3 discipline, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so we have 1 success, 2 successes. That's not much. Discipline, however, does dominate for now. Now, what the rest of you do want to do? Are you supporting, or are you doing something?
I would much rather support because I don't want to roll 5 exhaustion dice.
Yep, that is okay. Then go for it. Roll your 3 discipline. That is
More.
1 more success. So we have 1, 2, 3 successes so far.
I still have the umbrellas from the house because I never put them down, so I'm fighting with an umbrella.
Okay.
I'll also support.
Okay. 3 discipline dice, please. That is 2 more successes.
Beautiful.
So that is 3, 4, 5 successes in total. Which that means I cannot beat it. And at the moment, discipline is dominant, surprisingly enough. So describe to me how you want to support George as he's just unloading into this creature. What are you 2 doing to support him?
I figure there's probably like a lull in his shots where the guy comes towards him, so I'm just going to poke from behind and shove him back.
Okay.
Give George more time to shoot.
Excellent. And Dylan?
Adam had 2 umbrellas, right?
No. No, you don't have any umbrellas as far as I know.
Okay. I'll just also try and punch him.
Yeah, okay. So you have, let's see, 6 and a 2, which means that discipline has a 6 and a 5. Discipline is dominant. Impressive. Which means that George, you can reduce one of your checked boxes or reduce your exhaustion by 1.
Now, do we
I'm
all
gonna get
benefit
rid of
from
it.
No,
that?
that's
or-
just him. Only him.
Okay.
I'm gonna get rid of a check.
Okay. One of your checks goes. I'm assuming you're taking a fight check off.
Yeah.
Oh, you only have 5 checks, right? That are checked at the moment. Okay.
Oh, that's her.
And yeah, you unload into this creature. It's coming towards you. Pushing on, already heavily injured. There's no blood coming out, but it's stumbling. And Adam runs in and smacks it with an umbrella. It stumbles backwards, and Dylan leaps up with a pretty unprecedented show of force. Well, not quite unprecedented, but still gives him a push, and the creature stumbles backwards and crashes into a window and just falls out. And you just hear a thud as it hits the street outside. Now,
All right. Guns blazing. No more stealth.
okay, you just continue running up the stairs. I do. And you come into a circular room at the top of the building, and you can see in the center of the room is a cage made of ice. And there's 3 people in there, pale and shivering, dressed in half-torn clothing. Some of their skin is already blue. A young girl that, George, you instantly recognize as Cindy. Another, a slightly older girl with long brownish hair, dressed in a school uniform, that is recognized by Dylan, but only barely. This is Rachel, but you're not quite sure why you have such an attachment to her. I mean, you're not quite sure. You don't really remember what happened with her. She seems like a passing acquaintance, but one that you have very strong emotions for. And the third one is a teenage boy, and he's maybe 14, 15 or something, with a freckled face, just sitting in a corner. And they all 3 look up. And that, of course, is Logan, your nephew. They all look up towards you. And you can see they have lost color. Their eyes are slightly glazed over. Their skin is starting to become white. And even their hair and their clothing are slowly seeping into this uniform gray. And there's 3 snowmen standing around the cage, holding out one hand towards them, unmoving. But as they hear you coming up the stairs, all 3 heads turn, and 6 black eyes stare at you, and they turn towards you. Okay, now, because there's 3 snowmen, they have 8 pain in total.
Fuck.
4 for the first one, and every one after the first adds 2. So, they turn towards you, staring at you with unfeeling eyes, and then start moving towards you, stretching their cold hands out for you. What do you want to do?
Shit.
Okay. They're snowmen, so they probably don't like fire. So, is there anything I could use? Like, I don't think there's probably snow inside, but is there anything I could use to sort of?
There is no snow, but there is ice and frost on the walls.
Could I make like a torch and attack them with it by
You can
sort of drawing?
You can draw a torch on the wall. Certainly.
A torch and
Yes.
see if it lights up when it becomes real.
Yes. How many madness dice would you like to roll for that?
At this point, I'm rolling 6 because I need every chance I can that exhaustion doesn't dominate.
Shit!
Exhaustion cannot dominate, or I'm fucked.
6 madness dice. Nice. Okay, don't roll yet. I want to decide to hear what the other people are doing before anyone rolls. So,
Would we get the opportunity to support him, or is it just the three of us versus the three of them, essentially?
No, well, you can do either supporting or doing your own thing. That's your choice. If you want to do a supporting action, which, as I said, adds your discipline dice to him, but you can't roll any madness dice. You can't use any feats. You cannot use exhaustion dice at all. Or you do your own thing and just roll by yourself.
I want to try and get the kids out of the... Were they in a cage?
They are in a cage made of ice, yes.
Okay, I want to try and get them out of that.
So you just run up and start hitting the cage. Okay.
Sure.
And George, I mean. What do you want to do?
George is shooting at the snowman.
Okay. So let's start with George. Actually, yeah, let's start with George. How many madness dice do you want to roll, and how many exhaustion dice do you want to roll?
I'm gonna roll 3 madness and my 2 exhaustion.
Okay, and 3. Okay, so you have 8 dice. I get 8 dice. That is 2 successes. With the discipline. Another 2 successes with the exhaustion. Nice. And how many madness did you say?
I said 3.
3, okay.
Oh,
3 more successes. Wow, 7 in total. And actually discipline dominates. Wow, George is a monster. That's that guy. Incredible. However, the highest roll is a 5. So if I roll a 6 with 8 dice, that means pain dominates. Let's see. Yes, pain does dominate. However, I only have 4 successes. So, as I get a coin of despair,
ow.
Because pain dominates, George just unloads into one of these and just shoots 3 bullets into his face. One of the creatures just falls, instantly stops moving. Now we have, let's go with Dylan next. You are rolling against 4 pain. It is ice. It's not metal. You can definitely break it with your hands, but it's not easy. It's thick ice.
Okay. Gonna use 2 madness.
Okay. And how much exhaustion do you have?
4.
Okay. Interesting. There's 1 success with the discipline, and a 6, that's important. That's 4 more successes. Wow, that's an amazing exhaustion roll. 4 successes. That's 5 in total. And that is 1 more, so 6 in total. And discipline carries, yes, and I have only 1 success, and a 5 is my highest. So discipline actually dominates. And you manage to break a hole with your bare hands into the ice, ripping out 2 of the bars with a show of quite significant strength, actually.
Dylan's a badass.
Wow, yeah.
So is George, but he's
And
not,
You can actually remove an exhaustion if you want to, or untick one of your boxes because discipline was dominant. Same for you, George, by the way. I think discipline was dominant for you as well. Oh, no, sorry, pain was dominant.
Pain was dominant.
Pain was dominant. Yeah. So
Gonna
Dylan, you
remove
can
an
remove an exhaustion or untick one of your boxes, whatever you prefer.
Remove an exhaustion.
Okay. And then moving over to Adam. Let's see what's going on here. You're trying to create a torch by just drawing it on the... You said how many madness? Did you say 6, right?
Yeah, I can't let exhaustion win here.
Yep.
So I'm just freaking out and going crazy here.
That's the discipline first. Oh, you're just rolling everything at once?
Oh, good.
Wow. Oh, whoa.
At least exhaustion doesn't win.
No, exhaustion does not win. So we have 1 success, 2 successes, 3 successes, 4 successes.
5.
1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, and 1 as well.
Yes,
Yes. 5 successes. I'll be rolling 4 pain dice against that, so I can't really beat it. So yeah, and double 6 on discipline, but double 6 on madness as well. Madness dominates.
So obviously I'm taking my fight response.
Right, exactly. You draw a crude torch, and all of a sudden, there's a crack in the wall, and the torch falls out. And because you use 6 madness, that's the strongest you can get, the torch is blazing with a big flame. You just grab it, turn around, and all rational thought is gone. You just see red. And as you see those 2 creatures still standing, and one of them shot to bits, basically. And you just get ready to jump them and smash them to pieces with your torch.
Played a little bit of baseball as a kid, so just holding it like a baseball bat.
Excellent. Okay, that was the first round of combat, so to speak. However, yeah, no, that's fine. There's no way they can do that. Yeah. Okay, second round of combat. And I have 2 despair dice. I believe it's time to use some. There's only 2 of those creatures left, so their pain goes down to 6. As George has destroyed one with 3 headshots. Now, what do you guys want to do? I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what George and Adam are going to do.
Yeah.
George is going to take another shot.
Certainly. And what about Dylan?
Like, what do I see of the state of the kids?
They look afraid, they look pale, and they look half frozen to death. There's still a little bit of color in their forms, but it looks like these creatures have been leaching out their color. These snowmen. But they look alive. They're looking at you, wide-eyed, and little Rachel goes, Auntie Dylan, is that you?
Yes. Yes, it is. I'm here to help you.
And what do you want to do?
Don't want to leave the others, but I want to get them out of there.
Well, you know what to do then, maybe.
Gosh.
Come on.
I'm gonna use my madness talent.
Okay, what do you want to do with your madness talent? You can pretty much do whatever you want. You can bend reality.
Yeah.
All of madness dice to do strong effects.
Oh God.
What do you want to do? Come on.
Would that work? Would it work to be like, I want to bend reality so that we're all safe?
Well, you can totally try.
Okay.
That was a 6 dice madness roll for sure. If I've ever seen one. Okay. So roll your discipline. I'll be rolling 7 pain dice against that. Because you are at the center of the power of an organization, and they do not want to make you escape. So that's 7 pain dice. Mm-hmm. But you have a shit ton of dice, probably way more than that anyway. So we'll see. Let's start with Dylan. Why not?
Sorry.
That is 1 success.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, /R. The R. This. Okay.
Yeah.
That is 3 successes so far. That is it. So you have 3 levels of exhaustion, yeah? Okay. And 6 madness dice. 1, 2. So that is 5 successes in total. And madness is dominating so far. Oh, actually, yeah, it is. And madness is dominating so far. Let's see if I can beat that with my pain. So we said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. And madness still dominates. However, I'll be using one of my coins. I will cast a shadow on that roll, and I will turn. I will take one of your. That doesn't actually help me. Fuck. No, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. I can't. Even with casting a shadow, nothing happens. Okay. Well, I already said I used one token, so I can.
You can though, like
I can add.
You can add to your successes as well, right?
Sorry. Yeah, I can.
You can add to your.
No,
successes.
I can't. I can only add a 6 or remove a 6.
Oh,
cannot add a success.
it's only us that can do that with the hope coins. That's right. We added one more.
Yeah, you can do that. This is a despair coin. It doesn't add successes.
Right.
So I can add a 6, which I will be doing. I'll just add a 6 to my pain, which doesn't really have an effect, sadly. However, there is a flight or fight response triggered. And you only have fight responses. So I know what's happening. And I think you only have one of those triggered so far, right? So you have 2 unchecked boxes. Okay, there's a fight response triggered. And what happens is reality bends. And one of the walls starts crumbling, and a window pushes through the wall. A window that shows a misty morning over a field. And a little bit of sunlight peeking through the window. Okay, that was that. We have George, go ahead.
All right.
Come on, Snowman, do something.
I'm going to throw in 3 madness dice and...
Yep.
Can I do exhaustion as well as adding madness
your
dice?
exhaustion by 1.
Okay.
So
So
how
I
much,
can do both.
how much exhaustion do you have at the moment?
2.
Yeah, so you can roll 3 exhaustion dice, 3 discipline dice, and however many madness dice you like.
All right.
That's 2 successes with discipline. 2 more successes with exhaustion. And 1 more success with madness. And again, discipline carries. Wow, this is insane. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes against my 6 dice. Yeah, that's definitely a fail. However, I will add a... How many boxes do you have ticked?
1.
Ah, damn. I will add a 6 using my second coin to my I'll add a 6 to your exhaustion pool.
All right.
Which means exhaustion dominates. No, he regenerated one of his boxes.
Yeah.
He only has 1 box ticked. So you take 1. So you had, how much exhaustion did you have before this roll?
I had 2.
Okay,
I
now
went
you
up to 3.
Yeah,
and now I
you
have
4. Exactly. And you shoot another one of these creatures. 3 more shots, 2 in the chest, 1 straight in between the eyes, and it falls. And last but not least, Adam, with your torch.
Yeah, there's 1 more snowman left, and once again I have to roll 6 madness here.
Go for it. Yeah, exactly, because exhaustion domination kills you. Ooh, is that 4? No, madness dominates. And how many do we have? 1, 2,
Yes, 7.
Oh my god, I can't even beat that with my 6 dice. Yeah, no chance. So, do you have unticked boxes?
Oh yes, I definitely do. They're flight at this point, which is good because we have an escape route.
Okay, so
Oh well, I have 1 fight as well, but I'm picking.
what you picking?
Oh yeah, no, I have 2 flight and 1 fight, so I can still check one.
Do you have? So you haven't checked any? Yeah, you must have checked 1 fight so
I
far.
checked the fight, and I have 2 flight left. Yeah, so we have flight left.
Yeah, so you have to take flight, which means that you leap up, you bash the snowman in the face with your torch. His face starts melting, like literally melting, like ice, just running down and falling onto the ground in water. And the snowman falls over. And you seeing this, you're like, shit, we need to get away. We need to get away. And just run towards the window and just rip it open and leap through, basically. I'm
Yep.
assuming that's what you wanted to do, right?
Yep.
Okay, and you,
Dylan will get the kids out behind us.
yeah, you just keep running. You don't even look back. You just land on the ground and just run across the
Do I
field.
recognize this? Is this the place where the car was? Because I want to run right to the car.
You have no idea. It's a misty, grassy field.
All right, then I pick a direction and start running.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, and with that, combat is over. And Adam's gone. George and Dylan, you're standing there with the 3 kids.
Yeah, I start to just
George
maneuver
runs
them
over
towards
and
the
grabs
window.
Sydney and hugs her.
Okay, she is cold and mostly unresponsive. She seems to be in shock or maybe hyperthermia or whatever, hypothermia or whatever. It's, yeah. Dylan, what do you want to do? While George grabs.
I maneuver like Adam's nephew.
Yeah, Logan. Yeah.
Yeah, Logan out the window, and then I sort of look a little bit confused at Rachel, but I hold her very tightly as I also maneuver her.
Okay,
out
so
the window.
you hear footsteps coming up the stairs behind you, many footsteps, as the rest of the snowmen are rushing up to see what is going on and stop you. You have to give me one last roll to see if you'll get away before they catch up to you, because you are burdened, one of you carrying a child, one of you holding a child and pushing a teenager in front of you. This is an athletics check, so George can use how much do you have? Do you have 4 exhaustion at the moment?
I have 4 exhaustion.
So you have at least 4 successes. I will be rolling again. I will be rolling actually I will be rolling 8 pain against you, as there's a lot of snowmen coming after you.
Oh.
But you can now choose, if you want to, George, to activate your ability, which means that you add 5 successes to however many successes you roll. However, sorry, 4 successes. However, that does push you to 5 exhaustion. So if exhaustion dominates in your roll, you're a goner. So it's risky. You can do it if you want to, or you can just say, okay, 4 successes minimum is fine enough for me.
4 successes minimum is fine for me.
Okay.
So
let's roll it. How many madness dice do you want to roll?
Just 2.
Okay. So that is 2 successes with the, and then we have 4 exhaustion, I believe, yeah?
Yeah.
And it is 1 more success, 3 in total. And so 4 successes minimum. That's what you get.
Yeah.
And exhaustion dominates. So you also take, oh, actually, no, I haven't rolled yet before we do this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I have only 3 successes, so you managed to beat me. However, I have a 6 and a 5 and another 5. So pain dominates, which I guess doesn't really matter at the moment for you. So snowmen rush up to you. They start grabbing you. You feel their touch, freezing cold. You shout out, but with your last strength, you leap through the window with your daughter in your arms and land on the ground. While the other snowmen are rushing up to Dylan. Now, Dylan, what do you wish to do?
I mean, I'm still trying to get out the window, right?
Yes. So
Yeah.
you're rolling your discipline dice. However many exhaustion dice you have, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much exhaustion do you have at the moment?
3.
Okay, so you want to take one more to roll an additional die?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're rolling 4 exhaustion, 3 discipline, and how many madness dice?
What am I up against?
8 dice. 8 pain. A lot of no man.
I'm gonna go all in.
How many response boxes have you ticked?
Only 1.
Okay, that's not too bad. So you can technically risk
Yeah. So I'll
a bunch of madness.
Yeah, I'll just risk 6 madness.
Okay, go for it. So we have 3 discipline, I think 4 exhaustion, you said, right? And 6 madness. What, 2 successes? 1 more success, that's 3, and 6 madness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 successes with the madness. That's 8 successes. So I cannot beat that because I can only roll 8 successes at maximum. No. So let's see what dominates. Pain dominates.
Oh, okay.
So I get 1 more. Actually, can I do anything with that? No, I can't. Pain dominates for sure. There's nothing I can do about that. I rolled too high. I get 1 more dark despair die. However, while the snowmen are clutching at you, you manage to push Logan through the window. He stumbles, falls over it, but goes out, hits the ground on the other side. And then you leap, still clutching Rachel, through the window. And as the snowman, one of the snowmen grabs you, but you manage to shake him off. He rips some of your jacket off, and it just freezes in his hand. And you leap out, and as you leap out, the window behind you shatters. And you can just see 3 snowman faces staring out at you with their black eyes. And there's a flicker of hate in their eyes. And then the window shatters and is gone. And you are on a field, back in the city slumbering. And you have successfully found and saved your, well, charges. And we will see what happens next. Now there is a big bullseye painted on you, as you have been to the Mad City, and the nightmares can smell you. And some of you are exhausted. Some of you are close to madness. But whatever happens next is a story for another time. As we are finishing this one-shot successfully, close, but successfully, and you all made it. None
I think
fell
that
prey
went very well.
to the nightmares. Yeah, that was pretty good. That George guy is a pretty beast. Like you had like no exhaustion until the final fight, basically.
Yeah, he just kept having madness dominate,
Yeah.
but he had a coin to uncheck his box. So
And Dylan did pretty well, and that torch was also a nice idea, and the door was a nice idea because that stopped you from actually attacking the people at the doorway, which would have brought way more snowmen from all sides, and you had to have probably 2 or 3 fights like this to get through. So yeah, well done, guys.
I'm surprised I didn't die.
Well done, guys.
Apparently,
Yeah, and that was Don't Rest Your Head. I hope you got a feeling for how their system works and what happens when exhaustion starts closing in, madness starts running rampant, and nightmares are closing in from all sides. But there is a shimmer of hope and a shimmer of sunlight as 3 souls have been saved from the snowman, and 3 new awake have made their first trip into the Mad City and live to tell the tale. Thanks for watching, guys. This was our 4th game in 7 days. Tomorrow we are playing D&D 5th edition and hunting some brutal orc marauders in the snow. We'll see how that goes. Tune in tomorrow if you wish. And until then, good luck with your own games, and I will see you around. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.